And running at the Tony Macaroni Arena. It is full live commentary. It's Livingston against Celtic with Pat Bonner, Richard Foster and Stuart Mitchell.
Thank you, Richard. Welcome into West Lothian, everyone. Sunday's early Scottish Premiership kick-off as Livingston look to add to previous positive results and what will be another tough task with Celtic, the visitors, and their view is on stretching back to a 4-point gap at the top of the Scottish Premiership table ahead of second place Rangers. The team's out on the pitch. They've just finished showing their support for the Show Racism, the Red Card campaign. Celtic running away to the left in front of their supporters, which are around the stadium. The three stands opposite from our position in the main stand. The two captains will meet with referee Willie Collum in the middle, Cameron Carter-Vickers on the left, Nicky Devlin that is on the right, and they'll go head to head for the coin toss. The rain just beginning to drizzle down on the pitch here at the Tony Macaroni Arena. Livingston, the home side, in their traditional colours of the yellow and black, with the black pinstripes down the front, yellow shorts, yellow socks with the black trim up the top. Celtic in the green and white hoops with the white shorts and the green and white hoop socks as well. Going to the huddle on the left. As I said, the supporters enveloping the stadium here, with the noisiest of those to our right from our commentary position on the main stand. We sit just in line with the midway point of the Livingston half. Livingston will be shooting from right to left. Celtic set to go from left to right. And what an entertaining match we have in store. The lunchtime helping of Premiership action. The meeting here, the first meeting last season, Livingston and Andrew Shinnie stunned Celtic when Shinnie's strike in the first half was the only goal of the game. That finished 1-0. And Postecoglou will remember that, and Celtic and Aaron Moy get us underway with kick-off. Remember, Celtic in the green and white hoops going from left to right, Livingston from right to left in the all-yellow, as Joe Newbley chases down Carter-Vickers in the back line. And just as we are underway in the stadium, that rain just begins to get a little heavier on the pitch as Taylor moves forward. Kyogo with the chance, the overlap's there. Moy will try and pick it up on the edge of the box, but Stephen Kelly comes back to clear away. And Hatate will go across on the opposite side to take a quick throw, and that's what he's looking for anyway. Greg Taylor will take over duties. Haksabanovic runs to the right, and Hatate will peel to the left. Devlin gets in front of Haksabanovic, and the Livingston captain clears the ball long towards the halfway line. Joe Newbley tries to nod it back down. Scott Pittman's clearance will go over the stand and out for another throw. And as Richard said, joining alongside me in commentary, Pat Bonner and Richard Foster. Pat, is it possible that that rain that's just begun to fall may help Celtic a bit more than Livingston, do you think?
Actually, the first thing I was going to say, absolutely. Earlier on when they were warming up, the sun was out and I was saying that'll dry the pitch up, and suddenly the rain has come down and it'll make the game really, really quick. And if you're a winger on this pitch, and I've seen before wingers coming here when it was dry, hard to run with the ball, but today they have no excuses.
Richard, agree with that?
Yeah, so I think when you play on an AstroTurf pitch, you want it to be wet, you want the rain to come down, because it does quicken the game up, especially if you're Celtic. But Livingston can play on it as well. They know the bounces and the way the ball runs. But it's just, I think for me, the biggest thing is how quick will Celtic play. If they keep the tempo up.
Oh, there's tempo from Livingston as Stephen Kelly intercepts the pass from Jens, who was going across field from the far side. Celtic have possession again as Stephen Kelly couldn't make anything with Newbley ahead of him.
And he's lucky there, but what I was going to say is if Celtic keep the tempo up, then I don't think Livingston can stay with them. But if they can slow the game down, Livingston, then it'll be a real tough game for Celtic.
Taylor driving forward, looks for Haksabanovic. Devlin puts it out into touch for the throw. Taylor looking to move quickly. Infield now for Hatate. Taylor will look for the attacking move, goes back to Hatate again in the middle. Moy tries the quick 1-2. Stephen Kelly will intercept, but Moy right back in again, hungry for the ball. Haksabanovic back for Moy once again. Haksabanovic has it, and now looking to pierce it through into the penalty box. Hatate has it, clips the ball over, it's across the 6-yard area. Jack Hamilton, the debut goalkeeper for Livingston, got across, but is now on this near side. Ralston, O'Reilly dips the ball in towards the back post, but there's nobody there in green and white, and Nicky Devlin can allow that one to go across and out for the goal kick, and that will give the debut goalkeeper Jack Hamilton a bit of confidence. The former Hearts and Dundee stopper, 36 appearances at Greenock Morton last season. Jamal George was the starting keeper at Ibrox last Saturday, but he did take a few knocks in that match.
Yeah, as a young goalkeeper, you want to get a touch of the ball early on. You want to get a cross or a save, and just get a feel and can almost get into the game a little bit. The longer it goes on without getting that, you're kind of a little bit nervous, especially up against probably a team that will test you.
Livingston have lost possession from the goal kick, but there's the work being done as Fitzwater tries to whip the ball forward for Newbley. It's too far ahead of the striker, but he raises the right hand in appreciation. Joe Hart will roll the ball out quickly in his all-black goalkeeper kit with the yellow boots and look for Carter Vickers. In field now, the ball for Greg Taylor. Left-footed, cushions the pass to the far side for Hatate. Back to Taylor once again, and Rio Hatate has possession. Greg Taylor again, moving into that final third, whips the ball through for Kyogo, tries to cut it back but doesn't quite get it cleanly. So just trying to wrap the left foot around it before it went out of play, and it's safely into the hands of Jack Hamilton, and it remains with 4 minutes on the clock. Livingston 0, Celtic 0.
And that's what it's going to have to be for Celtic. It's going to have to be passes into the box. You know, if you look at the Livingston back three, they're all 6 feet plus. I mean, Sean Kelly at 6'2" looks small compared to the other two guys beside him, so they almost give up the wide areas and allow Celtic to cross the ball because they're comfortable that they'll win every header. So it's going to have to be that kind of pass in behind there. We've seen with Kyogo, he just can't get enough purchase in the cross.
Yeah, it's pass and movement really, isn't it? You know, if you get good quick movement and then somebody can pick the pass, then and they will play in behind that back three and try and create their chances from there. Absolutely. And pull, if you get to the byline, then centre halves have got to make a decision. Do I go out and leave a little bit of space then for a midfielder or people joining in?
David Martindale might not thank me for saying this, but the ball just went out of play for a goal kick, and he's immediately speaking to someone in the stand. I think he's not happy that the ball was given to Celtic quickly, which, as we've heard already this season, is something that they use quite effectively, and David Martindale appears as hoping to try and counter that.
Absolutely, that's the last thing in the world. I'm sure every manager now is almost saying to whoever his staff is, or whoever not one of his own internal staff, but certainly club staff, to get the message across to the ball boys, or ball girls, could you say?
Yeah, I've played against it, and you know, more so at Celtic Park, but certainly wherever they play, sometimes it feels like you can't get the ball out the pitch. Every time you try and clear it, it stays in, and you don't really need it coming back in too quickly to upset your shape.
Livingston with another goal kick. Jack Hamilton in the full pink goalkeeper kit will get that long towards the halfway line. Hatate has it now. He looks for Haksabanovic, but that ball is heavy and out on the far side for a throw. The one person that's closer, Kennedy Nidsan, the reporters down pitch side. Did you see anything there from David Martindale, Kennedy?
I certainly did. I nearly had a heart attack because I thought he was bellowing at me. The ball arced just over my head. It was, as you say, thrown back too quickly for his liking, and he was absolutely furious with the gentleman just to my left for the speed with which he got the ball back into play. He then had a word with a couple of the ball boys down here, and he said, calm it down. So he clearly wants Livy to take the sting out of the play, on field and off field.
I don't think Carradine looks like a ball boy, does he? Wrong dress.
There's a bit of concern over on the far side. There's a Livingston player down. It looks like it could be Stephen Kelly, as Joe Newbley's over just to see how he's doing, and the medical team will run on. Livingston subs come out to warm up in front of us. And a couple of lows in Bruce Anderson, Andrew Shinney. There too.
Yeah, just looking at Livingston, obviously they've gone with their back three, but they're almost a back five when Celtic have got possession, and then they've got the four in middle of the pitch, and they'll drop into almost a line of four when they have to defend and make it really tough for Celtic to break them down. When they attack, then it'll be Pittman, it'll get himself forward, and it will be, I think, Stephen Kelly that will get up there to support Newbley, but he's very detached, Newbley, when they're so deep.
Former Scotland under-21 international Stephen Kelly, 22-year-old now. His 5th league appearance of the season against his former club Rangers last weekend, full of drive and energy for David Martindale, and is back to his feet now off the touchline in the far side, waiting for permission to come back on as Holt gets the game restarted. Forward it goes long for Newbley. Carter Vickers and Jens trying to deal with it. Newbley will peel away to the right side. He'll hold up waiting for some support. It's there in Devlin. The captain tries to skip forward but brought down by Haksabanovic, and Livingston will have the free kick. Good play from the home side on that far side, Pat.
Yeah, it's a chance for them now, and that ball up to Newbley is causing Jens a little bit of a problem Ian's a big guy, but he can't deal in the air with the likes of Nubli, who is a giant, by the way. They've got the foul out on the right hand side, and now they can get the three big guys, the three centre halves up there also to join in and create a problem. It's all about the delivery now.
It's the two Kellys that stand over the ball, Sean and Stephen. Nubli, Obalai, Fitzwater all away to Longridge, just towards this near side on that left and penalty box from where we look. The ball's down. Stephen Kelly with a side swinger to Nubli at the front post. It's taken by Hart, but Nubli just managed to find himself some space there, Richard, at the front post, but not quite clean enough contact with the shot.
As they set up, and no one was anywhere near him. He was stood kind of beyond the first line of the Celtic players, and I actually thought it was a poor ball in, but that's obviously what they went for. They went for that low one into Nubli, and he just doesn't get enough on it. And Celtic looked. They're obviously too concerned with Fitzwater and Obalai that they never...
Through it is for Kyogo, through ball. Can he get the shot away? Left-footed, high into the net! And right up the other end, Celtic strike! And it's Kyogo with his 8th league goal of the season and runs away to the top right corner in celebration. 10 minutes on the clock at the Tony Macaroni Arena. It's Livingston 0, Celtic 1.
Well, they build the ball down this right hand side. Tony Ralston picks it up, and he picks his other fullback out in the middle of the pitch. That inverted fullback, Greg Taylor, coming right in there, and then he plays a beautiful penetrating pass for Kyogo, who takes it on the straight. But there was nobody actually near him, and he had so much time to almost get his shot on target, but it was high. A really good pace on it to beat the young goalkeeper high up onto his right hand side. Good goal from Celtic's perspective. Livingston will be a little bit disappointed to give him so much room.
Yeah, I think when you've got 4 in the midfield, as you said, Pat, and then 5 across the back with your 3 centre halves, you can't allow first Greg Taylor, then Kyogo the space that he has, because he takes a fantastic touch and it's a good pass, but he seems to have so much time to play the pass, and Kyogo, there's no one within 2 or 3 yards of him. It's a fantastic finish, although I always question goalkeepers when they get beat at the near post, albeit it was high in the top corner.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a situation in the middle of the pitch there, when obviously they took the kick off, goes back to centre halves, and Kyogo went to run forward to put a bit of pressure, and I think it is it's Penrith that stepped across him, and now stepped across him again and pushed him to the ground, and the referee wasn't very far away from it, I'll tell you.
Shake of the hand between the two players.
So I wonder what he's doing here. Obviously, Willie Collum, is he giving a free kick to
Livingston?
Livingston. That's a strange decision for me. It really is.
Jason Holt is making his 100th appearance for Livingston. He's having the conversation with the referee, and quickly Livingston go again. 11 minutes on the clock. Livingston 0, Celtic 1. Celtic will now have the free kick for the challenge on Anthony Ralston. Quickly it goes forward for Aaron Moy, just in front of us inside the Livingston half. Cuts it back for Ralston on the halfway line. Hatate tries to zip the pass for Moy, who can't bring it down on the left foot, so Penrice will try and curl the ball in towards Joel Nubli. It's over his leg, and it will fall for Moritz Jens. Taylor on the far side, looks back inside under the pressure from Scott Pittman. He signed a new 3-year contract through the week for David Martindale. True legend, he describes him as, gives him so much on and off the pitch. And Rio Hatate with some lovely work on the halfway line from the far side, looking across to this near side for Ralston. Tries to play the pass through, Longridge slipped, somehow managed to stop it with his chest. I think a few of the Celtic fans behind the goal thought there was more in that, but Forrest has one possession back. O'Reilly in his left, uses Moy on the right, into the final third now, back for Ralston, first time cross is low. Forrest juggles the ball on the penalty spot, and there's Longridge coming in to swipe the ball away left footed with the bright orange boots. Up towards Joel Nubli, is just inside his own half. Stephen Kelly with the touch on the left boot. Back to Longridge in the defensive line for Livingston. Sean Kelly's quick pass for Jason Holt. Penrice wheels away from Ralston. He had the beating of the Celtic right back. Ralston left the right leg out. Free kick to the home side, and a conversation from the referee. That remains Livingston 0, Celtic 1, 12.5 minutes played. Kyogo the goal scorer.
Nice little bit of play from Livingston. A couple of passes which we haven't seen so far in the game, but he got a couple of passes in that time. Ralston, he kind of dives in a little bit. He doesn't need to do that because the player's almost facing his own goal. He just settled himself down, and he's lucky maybe to get away with it.
I actually don't mind it. It's your full back you know, let the guy know he's in a game.
Typical fullback
in his own half as well. You do well to get booked for that one, but you've left a little bit on him. I don't mind that at all from Ralston.
Aware of all the space behind Anthony Ralston. Livingston have us going again. Fitzwater has the ball on the far side. Forward for the captain, Devlin. It's Holt trying to caress the pass forward towards Stephen Kelly, but way ahead of him, and Hart can see it over for the goal kick. And he'll rush to the edge of the 6-yard box with the short reverse pass now for Jens on that far side. Taylor, forward for Hatate, has been lively in this first 13.5 minutes. The score, Livingston 0, Celtic 1. The curse of the commentator there as he loses out, and the throw will go Livingston's way on the far side. Devlin to take just inside the Celtic half. He'll do that consistent job as he always does, getting up and down that right side defensively and in an attacking position when he can do so. Devlin flips the ball forward for Newbley. Jens keeping a close eye. Livingston want the free kick, nothing awarded. Far side now for Taylor. Stephen Kelly commits the challenge. Free kick Celtic. Livingston 0, Celtic 1. 14 minutes played.
I think when you look at the difference between Jens and Carter Vickers has got no interest in trying to fight Newbley. He just backs off him, lets him flick it on. Whereas on the other side, Jens he's trying to make it a battle, he's trying to make it a fight, and Newbley's, you know, he's going to, even if he wins 50-50, that's going to cause you a problem. So I think he'd be better pressed just to, you know, just sit off him and let him flick the ball on.
Taylor, deep cross, finds Forrest on the near side, links up with Moy, back with James Forrest again. Ralston supporting, lovely quick passing from Celtic here, but Moy just can't take it in. And he looks to the sky in frustration. Newbley's done well up the other end to hold off Cameron Carter-Vickers. Newbley's on his own up against the 3 Celtic defenders. O'Reilly comes across, now Carter-Vickers. Newbley goes down, Wally Collins close by, he has a look, he says there's nothing in it. The Livingston supporters alongside us in the main stand disagree, and Newbley will slowly get back to his feet. He has a look towards Willie Collum again before Joe Hart will restart with the goal kick. Did you see much in that one, Richard?
No, I think he shows his strength a moment before, knocks Carter Vickers out of the way, then he tries to make it a foot race, and I think he was always losing out, and he goes down. He's obviously wanting the free kick, but it would have been a soft one for me.
Fitzwater clears away for Livingston. O'Reilly brings it down with a nice lace pass for Ralston on the near side. He's found Forrest in behind the Livingston defence, but there's Penrice with an excellent sliding challenge. Whips the ball away, is up long for Newbley now. He's having his shirt pulled at by Carter Vickers. He's holding the ball on the touchline. Willie Collum says it's a throw-in, and things heating up in the Tony Macaroni Arena with both sets of supporters feeling decisions are going against them.
Yeah, and listen, Newbley is such a strong physical player. He's up there in his own, and he's doing well because he's running the channel and he's trying to get on that side where he becomes favourite for the ball, which you want from your striker. Carter Vickers is trying to stop him and using his strength, and it's just a grappling exercise. So yeah, Willie Collins letting it go at the moment, but I'm sure if it continues there'll be decisions to be made.
Joe Hart will take over from the free kick, and now Moritz Jens with some space to stroll forward out of the Celtic half. He's coming over the halfway line now. Haksabanovic on the right foot looks inside, high crossover from that deep position, but there's nobody making their way into the penalty area. They'll go out for the Livingston goal kick. 16.5 minutes played, Livingston 0, Celtic 1. So we'll just run through the starting lineups again. Hamilton making his debut for Livingston in goal. Sean Kelly, Fitzwater, Oberlai the back three, with Devlin and Longridge the wing backs. Pittman and Holt, Penrice, Stephen Kelly and Joe Newbley for Livingston. For Celtic, it's Hart, Ralston, Carter Vickers, Jens, Taylor, Hatate, O'Reilly, Moy, Forrest, Haksabanovic and Kyogo. Both managers making 3 changes from their last results. Haksabanovic, far side into the final third, cuts it back for Hatate, has a look. Forrest and Kyogo in the area, maybe in a little bit of an offside position, both of them. So he'll use Ralston on this near side. He'll now go with the right-footed ball clipped up to the back post. Haksabanovic there, above Devlin. Neither of them win the ball, and Devlin can just let the ball trickle over the paint of that byline and out for another Livingston goal kick. 17.5 minutes played, Livingston 0, Celtic 1, Kyogo the goal scorer.
Good play from Celtic there, but then Ralston, I think he's got to cut it back to Moy. I think Moy makes a really good offer on the edge of the box, but he elects to go for the high cross, and Livingston will deal with that all day. I can't see Kyogo out jumping Oberlai in the middle, but get the ball into his feet and he's very dangerous, as we've seen with the goal. If
that cross is coming in, it's got to be hit in with a little bit of pace, where Kyogo then can spring off people, and you know he's really quick in the box, but to jump people, no, you're absolutely right.
Hamilton restarts up towards Joe Newbley. Ralston steps in on the near side and hammers the ball away. Celtic in that deep position, so Hamilton will come out this near side of the penalty box to our right. Long he goes, but again heavy for Newbley. So to do quite a bit of running and chasing after the ball so far in the opening 18 minutes. Moritz Jens takes over from the goalkeeper Hart. Taylor on the left foot inside his own half. He'll turn back towards Jens. Now Carter Vickers. Celtic have an option down the right side. Back across between the centre-back pairing.
Has he got shin guards on, Newbley? I don't see many players with his socks almost down round his ankles a little bit. Whether he's got them strapped on, Richard, is that allowed now?
I think as long as you've got them in there somewhere, they obviously don't need to be exactly on your shins. But then his shins are that big, maybe they just don't fit him.
Maybe the socks can't get him up over his calves.
Celtic on the attack. Moy for Ralston. Out now for Forrest on the right wing, on the right foot. Back to goal. Now he faces it. Inside now for Adam Moy. Pressure there applied by Jason Holt. Matt O'Reilly takes over. And Taylor will just step into the line of three at the back to help out and create the diamond. Left-footed now, looks across from the centre circle to the far side. Haksabanovic was making the run, but Devlin cuts the pass out. Hatate sweeps up the loose ball in midfield, and Celtic will go again with the applause in the background from their supporters for the work winning back the ball. Hatate for Moy. O'Reilly now inside the centre circle, just in the Livingston half. It's Ralston. Turns back onto the left foot and looks across to the far side. Taylor has so much space there. Curls the ball in towards Moy, stretching it over back to this near side again. It's Forrest, right wing, step over, right-footed cross, cut out by Longridge, and a roll behind for the Celtic corner. Out it goes. Almost 20 minutes played at the Tony Macaroni Arena. Livingston 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, Celtic got so many players in that midfield area when they push the two full-backs in there too. So you almost have to concentrate. You've got to communicate. You've got to pass people on from that perspective to keep the area shut.
Moy with the corner into the front post, headed away. O'Reilly lines up the shot, drills it. It's blocked by Newbley. Ralston tries again. A spectacular effort from inside the D, but it'll slowly go past the far post of Hamilton's goal. But it wasn't really a quick corner, but it still seemed to catch Livingston off guard a bit. He headed away at the front post, but O'Reilly had quite a bit of time there, Pat, to get the shot off and pick what he wanted to do. Yeah,
it was a decent strike. So many bodies in there. It could have easily ricocheted off somebody when in towards the goal, but it came away from goal, which is really, that's what you want. You've got to get a block in. You hope that you get it right, and that time Livingston was okay. They got the block. Good defending.
Goal kick long from Hamilton up to that far right side, in between where Devlin and Newbley stand. Celtic will have the throw. Clive Taylor just lets the ball bounce high in the air and then drop down into the arms and throws it back towards Joe Hart. Carter Vickers.
Just as we talk, also the sun's just broke out again, so we've got all sorts of seasons today.
Floodlights on too, which are a bit of a surprise at 20 past 12 on a Sunday afternoon with the clocks changing. Just see that light break through Livingston's home stadium. They're chasing an equaliser. They haven't had much in the way of opportunities. The clear one was Joe Newbley from the free kick. Didn't quite make clean contact at the front post inside the penalty area. Hart collected, Celtic restarted and went right up the other end. And Kyogo unleashed the shot to make it 9 goals in 16 matches in all competitions this season so far. Celtic will go looking for another. Moy clips the ball through for Kyogo. Play continues. Kyogo keeps it alive and he stabs it over the crossbar. He was on the ground with Jack Fitzwater there. Somehow, just somehow, Kyogo managed to get his left foot to it, and for just a moment it looked like there was a threat to Hamilton's goal. It went wide and high, and it remains Livingston 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, it was fantastic play in midfield from Celtic. Quick pass and Moy slides it through to Kyogo, and I think he's onside. I think Longridge is playing him on. He's deeper than his back three. You see them all looking round wanting the offside, but I don't think he is, and he just can't quite get the ball out of his feet to get his shot away. But like you say, he nearly then, even once he'd been tackled, he's on the ground, he nearly managed to scoop it into the net. But that's what it's going to take from Celtic to score. Again, it's going to take that quick interplay in midfield, one touch, two touch passing, because Kyogo's always playing on the shoulder and he's always looking to dart in behind.
Devlin and Newbley link up on the far side. Stephen Kelly. Livingston have the ball in their back defensive line. Long it goes. Ralston, his clearance, or half clearance, drops to Newbley. He looks to the left side for the support from Longridge. He's looking for Penrice, but Adam Moy knew what was happening there. It was in the right spot. And there's the sliding challenge to Buck Ralston's clearance, and Livingston will have the throw. James Penrice keeping that one alive, and Jackson Longridge will signal to Devlin. He'll come across to the opposite side, this near left side, far away down the touchline, and it'll be the captain of Livingston aiming, setting up the long throw.
Yeah, and right away the two centre halves, Obalai and Fitzwater, goes right up into the back post. They've taken it short.
There's three around the front. It's back to Sean Kelly, curls the ball in. Carter Vickers there with the headed clearance. Livingston with another throw a bit further back towards Ange Postecoglou's technical area. Is it in a position for another long one? Devlin still hanging around there and waiting. He's just shuffling the three players at the front post into position. Newbley standing there, Longridge too, and he will line up. The concrete wall at the stand down to our left just opens up for a little bit more space as it gets down to that final third. Devlin now tiptoes all the way to the touchline, in towards that near post that's headed away, edge of the D. Stephen Kelly has it, right foot takes the touch, maybe didn't sit as he wanted, and it's easily taken by Hart. Taylor will try to come up the far side out for the throw. It remains Livingston 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, I actually think he should have left it. I think Pittman's running onto the ball, and I mean, Kelly gets a decent enough strike, but he's never going to get enough power on it, whereas Pittman's running right onto that ball, and you got out the way and just let him smash it. What they need to be careful of is it's Pittman and Holt that are at the back with Kyogo on them long throws. So if Hart gets the ball and he elects to go long, I'm fancying Kyogo in a foot race, you know, because neither of the two of them are defenders, so they need to be careful of that. But yeah, half a chance there for Livingston, but comfortable save for Hart.
When Livingston push the players up, it's the gaps that can open up, and Celtic will look to punish. Already did that with Kyogo's earlier goal. Hatate now for Taylor. That sunshine that Pat mentioned earlier gets stronger on the Livingston surface. O'Reilly has the ball, midway point of the Livingston half. Now it's Hatate looking to break into the final third, slips the ball through for Kyogo, out wide again, far side for Haksabanovic. Hatate, three Livingston players in front, pierces the ball through. Kyogo, O'Reilly tries the quick touch, it's broken out, but Celtic still have it. Ralston now for Forrest, right side of the area. Hatate makes the forward run, opens up the space for Moy. Forrest takes over, drills a left-footed shot, and it just creeps past the near post. Lovely link-up play from Celtic, running circles around Livingston there, around their own penalty box. But James Forrest drags the shot wide, and it remains Livingston 0, Celtic 1, 25 and a half played.
Good combination of little passes in round the edge of the box. Just a little bit of technique and skill to create the opportunity for himself. He just played that ball into Aaron Moy, then got it back, took it on his left foot. I thought he was going to curl it initially, but he's gone for the near post and it's just gone about a foot wide. I think the goalkeeper may have had it covered, but it was good play.
Hamilton restarts again, that far side looking for Devlin. He wins the jump, gets the header forward, but it's off target from Joe Newbley. Anthony Ralston will bring the ball forward across the halfway line. Fitzwater thought he had it, but he's missed it. Haksabanovic could be in behind here. Devlin gets back to cover. Haksabanovic with the cross deep towards the back post. Longridge with the header away. He had James Forrest behind him. Celtic still have it, and it remains on that right wing inside the final third. Ralston clips the ball over, looking for Kyogo, and Sean Kelly with the header. James Penrice will whip the ball up to the halfway line. Newbley goes down, and from our position, a clear pull on the jersey of Joel Newbley. He may have got away with one of those earlier, but Willie Collum won't let him away with that one. And it's the first yellow card to the direction of the Celtic captain today, Cameron Carter-Vickers.
And as I said earlier, that he wasn't trying to wrestle Joe Newbley, he just tried to wrestle him and just got thrown out the way and clearly pulls his jersey back. And now he needs to be careful, because if I'm Joe Newbley, I go and play against him every time the ball's in the air and try and force him into doing the same thing he done there.
And Richard, he didn't have to do it,
no,
because the ball's bounced away. And yeah, maybe Newbley had a yard on him, but with his pace he would have probably made it up, and Newbley's nobody up alongside him, so he'll have to just hold the ball up. So it was a bad decision by Carter-Vickers.
Quick 1-2 between Sean Kelly and Longridge. Now Stephen Kelly. Jackson Longridge has it again. He'll look for Stephen Kelly on the right foot inside. Livingston have every outfield player inside the Celtic half, so Celtic have everyone back as Holt looks to clip it towards Longridge, and the challenge with Ralston up in the air, and the free kick will go Celtic's way this time on the edge of their own penalty box. Ralston is not the tallest out of that back four, but he got up well against Jackson Longridge. And Joe Hart now wearing a black cap to shield his eyes from the sun. We'll restart with the free kick on that left side. Taylor immediately comes bursting over the halfway line. Rio Hatate now, right-footed, pass out to the far side touchline for Haksabanovic. Celtic going from left to right in the green and white hoops. Hatate zips the crossover. Obalai cuts out with the right foot, sliding. It's up in the air. Devlin heads away. Haksabanovic turns back now. Taylor, Hatate, Moy with the clip left-footed pass. Forrest has it. It's a long back line of Livingston players, almost 10 in there. Celtic will move forward. Haksabanovic again, and he's looking for the forward run of Taylor, but all wrong, and over it goes for the goal kick. You just see there, Richard, what Livingston are having to do. Celtic are pushing so many players up into the edge of that penalty area. It becomes a really long yellow-black back line there in the penalty box.
It does, but Celtic are very good at finding their teammates in those real tight spaces. I think some of Moy's touches have been excellent. You know, they're very comfortable playing in these tight areas with the quick 1-2s, the quick passing, and they look dangerous. And even the crossing, most of the crossing, they're trying to fizz it in low on this surface. It's wet, it's slidey, it's horrible to deal with, and that's what they need to do more of. But before that, Livingston had a little spell where they played a couple of passes and they got themselves up the pitch, and I think that's what they need to do. They need to kind of feel their way into the game a little bit, because it's been a bit scrappy from Livingston so far. They need to remember that they're a good side. They can play, they can play passes. They've got good quality on the pitch, and they've obviously got that threat and Nubly up the top. But they need more of that to keep in the game.
The home side are up there now. Good work, and has won a throw. Devlin thought about the long one. He'll go back to Kelly. Sean Kelly, that is, left-footed, crosses it towards the back post. Obalay's there. Ralston too. Ralston has the hand raised, thinking about an offside. Nothing coming his way. Livingston will now have another throw down at the corner flag to our left, opposite side, near side. And Nicky Devlin will have to do that sprint all the way across the pitch.
I think if he's going to throw it short, he needs to throw it with more pace. By the time it gets to Sean Kelly, all he's got is a hopeful ball into the box. Whereas I think that the throw-in will be more dangerous because it's harder to defend.
6 in the penalty box. Devlin lines up the long throw, makes it to the touchline, to the near post. Nubly's there, Longridge too. It's headed out of the area. Sean Kelly has it. Looking for Devlin, and he's just not getting there as the ball bounces over the touchline. And Celtic will have the goal kick to take. Just over the half hour played. Livingston 0, Celtic 1, and they go looking for a second on the far side as Hart moving quickly with that goal kick. Hatate, Haksabanovic, edge of the final third. Hatate's overlap, crosses low. Kyogo looking to get in at the front post. Obalai sliding, gets the studs to it. Pokes the ball away in the far side for the Celtic throw.
Yeah, it's a better ball in though, with a bit of pace to that near post low for that run of Kyogo, but Obalai spotted and got the tackle in. And just again, Celtic get almost a goal kick, and they take it so quickly, and they're down the pitch before you know, and that's just about an organisation from Livingston to make sure that they don't get caught out.
Taylor and Haksabanovic connect. Hatate can't get the ball back to Greg Taylor. Jack Fitzwater in enough trouble to happily put it out for the throw instead of trying to do anything too difficult in his own box.
Yeah, the interesting thing, sorry for cutting across you, the interesting thing is Haksabanovic so far in this game, he's never went to the byline once. It's almost picking it up. He'll go for 3 or 4 yards and then check back on to his right foot and trying to pick somebody out, whether it's a little run from a...
Greg Taylor feeds Moy, he strikes it, and it just whistles past the near post. Lovely first touch, good drive. He was looking for that bottom right corner. Jack Hamilton stretching, but again Celtic threaten, it goes wide. Livingston 0, Celtic 1. Kyogo with the only goal of the first half so far.
Livingston need to be careful, because when Greg Taylor shapes as if he's going to cross it, they all drop into the box. The defence drop, the midfield drop, and Moy just clever. He just stays where he is on the edge of the box. He takes it's a great ball into him, takes a fantastic touch, and he'll probably be disappointed he doesn't hit the target.
He's got to hit the target, isn't he? He was right in the middle of the goal too, and he's kind of almost scaffed it to the left goalkeeper, sort of almost left hand side. So yeah, big chance, and Livingston got away with one there.
Here he is on the ball again, right side at the midway point of the Livingston half after Hamilton's goal kick. Went straight back into Celtic possession. Hatate, O'Reilly, now Taylor. Still in that midway point of the Livingston half. O'Reilly will turn back. Hatate in the middle. He'll use Moritz Jens, man on a season-long loan from Lorient, for Carter Vickers. Now Ralston, back for Jens once again. 23-year-old defender. Sees Greg Taylor to his left, inside the Livingston half now. Quick pass forward, cut out by Fitzwater. Carries on with the ball, but Kyogo is rushing back to help out his midfield. And he does so with a cushion pass to Carter Vickers. Takes over again, looks for Ralston. He's poked the ball to Forrest. Forrest coming back though from an offside position. The flag is raised. Livingston will have the free kick with just over 33 minutes on the clock. Livingston 0, Celtic 1 in the lunchtime kick-off in the Scottish Premiership on BBC Sports Sound.
It's good defending from Fitzwater there, because he steps into the ball. He knows that Kyogo's, he's struggling to get there, but they just need to push their midfielders a bit higher and tell it, because what they're doing is, like I say, there's 6 of them dropped into the box, but they're not actually picking anyone up. They're just kind of marking space, whereas the midfielders on the edge of the box, just stay with your man. Don't allow him to get that touch on the edge of the box and get a shot away, because, like we said, Moyes should be hitting the target from there, and that's a dangerous situation. It's almost like they've got too many players there, and no one's really taking the authority to go, I'm going to pick him up.
Hamilton restarts with the free kick up towards Newbley. He holds off Jens well, takes it down in his chest, looks for Fitzwater, plays the ball forward with the high footlock. And that's the signal from the referee, and Celtic will have the free kick. Greg Taylor steals the ball from Fitzwater and moves it quickly, but the ball rolling, so the retake will be ordered by the referee. Jens stops the ball in the Celtic half and releases Taylor. He'll jog forward, ball at the left foot for Haksabanovic. Will he head for the byline this time? Devlin steps in with the outside of the left foot to stop the ball, and then curls it forward low along the ground for Joel Newbley. Tries to peel away, dragging the ball with his studs inside the Celtic half, but it's O'Reilly doing the defensive duties, and a good job of those two. Celtic have the ball through Hart, Jens, Taylor, now Matt O'Reilly. Ralston's in space on the near side, still inside his own half. Now he'll carry it across the halfway line. Forrest for Hatate. Has a look over both shoulders as the ball comes to his right foot. Clips it for Moy, maybe a little heavy as it rolls on the surface and goes out for the Livingston goal kick. Livingston, Pat, just when they do have the free kicks and the goal kicks and they go long towards Devlin and Newbley, they seem to win the ball in the air often enough. Of course, but it's that second ball when it drops down. Celtic just swarm around Joel Newbley and manage to get the ball back, it feels, and they've not really been able to create too much going forward in the first half. No,
and that's, from a defensive perspective, that's what you've got to do. You're not going to win too many balls against Newbley unless you stand off him and go forward and jump higher, but he's such a big guy, so you've got to pick up second balls. From an attacking perspective, then Livingston, they've got to get around about him and get the ball, hold it up, and try to get up beside him, so that when they do get a ball into that area, they're the ones that's picking up the second ball, and then they become a threat. So it's a kind of a cat and mouse situation between the two teams. Who comes out on top is the key.
Taylor moved up there and stepped in front of Devlin to win the header. Livingston restart with the throw, but Celtic now have possession. Coming across the halfway line is Rio Hatate. Jackson Longridge with the header up in the air. Stephen Kelly, that is, with a nice touch just inside the Celtic half. He allows runners to move ahead. There's 3 there. Longridge is on the left. He takes the ball. Newbley closest by in field. Takes the touch, goes back to Longridge. He'll whip the ball back for Sean Kelly. In field for Stephen Kelly. Has a look over both shoulders to the Livingston midfielder and all the way back to Oberle. Looks for the diagonal to the far side. Devlin was still there, holding that high position, but Taylor was all alone as the ball landed at his left foot, and he settles it down for Celtic possession. 36.5 minutes played, 1-0 Celtic.
Yeah, Livingston worked the ball down, sort of almost down the left-hand side through the wing-back Longridge, and Newbley's coming to the ball. He's pulling Carter Vickers out of the centre. That's when then you've got to get maybe a runner from midfield going into that space that Carter Vickers has left. But they circulate it back across their defence and then give the ball away. So just a wee bit more, I think, aggressive going forward, or a wee bit more kind of almost creative in that final third would help them.
Taylor has it just inside the Livingston half. Outside of the left foot, the pass is for Moy. Haksabanovic on the far side touchline. Celtic moving left to right. Moy makes the overlap. Hatate was on the edge of the box, but the pass too close to Jack Fitzwater. He clears away. Jens does well under the pressure from Newbley with the ball forward for O'Reilly, and it's spread to Carter Vickers in the middle of the Celtic half. Back on the left side now for Taylor. Looks to whip that ball to drop in behind the Livingston defence, but Fitzwater can see it as Hatate made the run and heads out of play far side. Celtic throw, Taylor to take.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think Livingston will be happy enough that they are just the one goal behind in many ways. They have a real chance still in this game to get something out of it. But Celtic will not be happy enough also, because they're a tough team to break down. And when you get that early goal, you just got to get your second to put the game to bed a little bit.
O'Reilly driving forward. Hatate and Haksabanovic link up onto the right foot. Still has it, corner of the box. Taylor tried to leave it. Haksabanovic will fish it out again. O'Reilly, near side now for Ralston. James Forrest. Ralston's continued the run. Forrest tiptoes to the right side. Leaves it for the right back. Back to Moy. O'Reilly runs ahead. Celtic switch positions. Taylor now in the middle. Moy has it on the near side. Forrest. Couple of touches. Starts to drive in field. O'Reilly on the left foot. Celtic just trying to move the ball around and stretch Livingston to create some spaces. Taylor tries to get an injection of pace to break into the final third, but as you just signalled, Pat Bonner, tight squeeze, the ball goes out of play behind Aaron Moy. Livingston throw, 1-0 Celtic it remains.
So many numbers of bodies in there from Livingston. I think it's going to be a 1v1 in the wide area. Try to get to the byline, try to get into that sort of kind of almost a byline beside the 18-yard box, where you can maybe drag people centre halves out of position a little bit, and then you can maybe a cutback might be something that might open up a little bit of space. Longridge
with the throw, it's right on the head of Ralston. Holt comes driving in, 100th appearance for Livingston this afternoon. Taylor across the halfway line. O'Reilly in the centre circle. Livingston half. Points right side. Forrest, quick one-touch pass for Ralston, cuts it across. There's Sean Kelly. He takes a couple of touches and smoothly plays it to Longridge, who twists, turns, goes long for Newbley. Again up against two. Not much he can do. Celtic recycle the ball through Jens. Taylor thought about going to this near side, but switches. And now Haksabanovic in field, sees Hatate's run inside the box. Taylor again, he's now outside in that left hand side. Moy with the back heel, straight to Stephen Kelly. It creates trouble though. Haksabanovic driving through, trying to get it on the right foot, pokes it for Forrest, and the ball somehow trickles through into the smothering Jack Hamilton at the edge of the 6-yard area. So they tried the runs before Richard Foster. That time they just tried to run their way through the Livingston back line. It almost worked, but falls into Hamilton's hands, and it means 1-0 Celtic.
Yeah, I thought Haksabanovic should have shot. I thought he could have got the ball out his feet and got a shot away. He's trying to be too intricate there. I think Moy again picks up some great positions, good first touch, good awareness around him, and I think he's been excellent in the first half. But yeah, I think when it's that congested, when it's that tight, I think Pat's right. Can we see some 1-2s in the wide areas from Celtic, or when we get in the middle of the pitch, shoot it, goal? You know, there's so many bodies there. It might take a deflection. It might, you know, the goalie might save it. It might drop down. But I think, you know, they're guilty of maybe overplaying in the last 5 minutes, which is, you know, they've seen them kick the ball out of play a couple of times. They've just done it again there. That just allows Livingston to get a breath and get themselves into the game. And while it's 1-0, Pat's right. Livingston are well in this game.
Livingston have the throw, far side, Devlin to take. It's in the SPFL Team of the Week for his performance last weekend. Started every match this season so far. Livingston will work it back to the defensive line. Holt looks for Longridge. Longridge and Ralston just go shoulder to shoulder. It allows Sean Kelly, the number 24 of Livingston, to step up. Penrice and Ralston clash just inside the Celtic half. The scream is from the away defender. Celtic free kick taken quickly, and Celtic thought they were allowed to do so. Willie Collum had a think about it and brings it back a little late there. You could hear the unhappiness of the away supporters.
I think he's doing a favour for Livingston, because Celtic, every single time there's a free kick, goal kick, anything of that, they'll almost get the ball down so quickly to get it away, and not just trying to catch the opposition out, of course, but Willie Collum, that's twice now he stopped the play. I think the first time it was legitimate. I think the ball was moving. That time I'm not 100% sure.
Haksabanovic has it, far side. Hatate gives him the layoff. Now Haksabanovic tries to force it into the penalty area. The clearance breaks to O'Reilly. Haksabanovic again on that right foot once more. Moy looks for the forward run from Haksabanovic, who tries to get there, his foot in as Jack Hamilton comes out. Livingston have the free kick. Devlin Nobile unhappy with that one. Both players going for the ball as it was on offer. The goalkeeper still crouched down on the ground.
It's always a difficult one, that. You know, you're the goalkeeper, you've got to put yourself in where it hurts. You've got to get there, and the player's coming in. And I didn't think that he almost kind of stood still and he kind of dived into him a little bit, and he's come out the worst, of course. But I don't think there was anything in this. Wally Collins having a word with him, but I don't think he could have done anything else, Richard.
You know, you're an attacking player. You think you can get the ball, you're going to go for it. He doesn't. You know, he probably does catch Hamilton. We can't really see from here. You know, it doesn't look great, but I don't think he's went in to try and hurt the goalkeeper. And I think he's just a bit unlucky with his timing. But it's interesting. I was watching Carter Vickers and Jens at the back. Now, for me, if they've got one up front, you have one in front and one behind. But they just go as a flat two, and I think that's when the ball comes out. That allows Nubly to get his body in and win the ball. Whereas I think they'd be, you know, if it's on Jens' side, he can stand in front of Nubly and allow Vickers to sweep round behind him. Whereas when they stay flat, it always gives the striker a chance, and any clearance, and he should get on the end of it. David
Martindale has used the stoppage to collect a group in front of the Livingston technical area, just pass them some instructions. Only a minute and a half to play of the regulation time in the first half. Jack Hamilton back on his feet and ready to restart. On the edge of the 6-yard area, right-footed, looks long up towards Devlin. Gets the header on. Nubly will give chase on Jens, but Taylor's down. And the referee has blown the whistle. He has a look towards Devlin, who pleads his innocence. A couple of Celtic players showing some attention to Taylor on the far side. He's back up now.
Yeah, again, it's a difficult. We're so far away from it. They called it that he raised an arm, but Devlin's pushed right up into Celtic's half, right on the byline, sideline, and he comes across Greg Taylor, who isn't the biggest. He's good in the air, Greg. He has a good jump on him, but he isn't the biggest. So it's always going to be a difficult one coming across the defender. You're always going to catch him.
I think he's just taller, isn't he? You know, I don't think. Again, it's a soft foul for me. It's you know, I think he gets it because he screams out in pain, the same way Ralston did on this side. You know, the shout out as if you're hurt, and then you get the free kick.
30 seconds left of the first half, plus the one additional minute that's been signalled. Haksabanovic moving forward. Offside is the call from Richard Foster, is sitting in a perfect line on the edge of the penalty area, and then the assistant must have heard you, Richard, because the flag went right up after you said that.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Does he flag or does he wait for the? But I think that was an easy enough one to call. He's looking right across the line. Good line from Livingston, and he just goes a bit too early.
Yeah, but that's the run. I think that's the run the Celtic have got. I mean, you know, early in the game, Kyogo made those runs down the side of the centre halves. He got his goal almost from it also, albeit it was a quick counter attack. But I think Hatate made that run early, just about a couple of minutes ago too, just to drag that centre half out of position, and then you create that little bit of space, and they've got the ability then to sort of find players inside the box. But if you stand still and everything's in front of those back three, and they're sitting right in across that 6-yard box, the width of the goal, then they're very, very difficult to break down.
Just about 30 seconds of that additional time to be played. Livingston have a throw, work from the goal kick on that far side, the midway point of the Celtic half. Far side, Devlin runs up, long throw towards the near post. Fitzwater tries to get ahead in it. Carter Vickers does so with the clearance. Stephen Kelly's up now, back into the box, out it goes. Pittman gets it forward. Nubly tries to bring it down. Celtic and Matt O'Reilly will spin away. Is there a chance for a final quick counter from the away side? Pittman's in front of Kyogo. He'll send it forward again. Carter Vickers into the air. Nubly tries to let the ball drop, but the referee, Willie Collum, blows the half-time whistle at the Tony Macaroni Arena in Livingston. Livingston 0, Celtic 1, the half-time score. It was Joel Nubly who looked to threaten at the front post from the delivery of a free kick. Joe Hart took possession with the save, restarted quickly, and Celtic burst right up the other end of the pitch for Kyogo to slip in behind the Livingston defence and score his 8th league goal of the season. James Forrest had a shot that dragged wide just after some neat passing from Celtic on the 26-minute mark, and then just after the half hour, Aaron Moy had a close chance from the edge of the area where he stabbed a strike beyond the near post of Jack Hamilton's goal. Celtic and Ange Postecoglou's side go in at the lead at half-time in West Lothian. Half-time on BBC Sports Sound, it's Livingston 0, Celtic 1.
This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
I'm Mark Stephen, delighted to be joined by the news member of the Out of Doors team, Rachel Stewart.
I grew up on a farm near the River Devon. We used to benefit benefit from anglers fishing there. They would pass us the odd trout here and there.
Your topical guide to the great outdoors.
It's about the environment, it's about the climate.
Just getting out into nature is a mental health benefit. You could be walking, you could be running.
There's always something different in flower throughout the year.
Explore Scotland this autumn with Mark Stephen and Rachel Stewart.
Do you know the Cabra?
That wild, rugged landscape is stunning, even on the dreariest of days.
Out of Doors, Saturday mornings from 6:30 on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Sounds.
Livingston 0, Celtic 1 at half-time. Kyogo with his 9th goal of the season in all competitions nudged him just ahead as Celtic's top scorer so far this campaign. Look, there's no doubt, Pat Bonner, that Celtic deserve to be in front in this. It's not been just the most entertaining of spectacles, though, has it?
No, lots of possession for Celtic. And round the edge of the box, a lot of working it from left to right. They made a few runs early on. I thought Kyogo got in behind a few times. Then they sort of kind of stopped making those runs and it became a bit predictable. I didn't see Haksabanovic go to the byline, I don't think, once in the whole game. Everything's coming back in on his right foot. That actually suits Livingston to a point. That means then that somebody else has got to make that little run from midfield and that, and they haven't made enough of them for me to just stretch Livingston from Celtic's perspective. But they have their goal, and it was having the inverted fullbacks. You've seen how quickly they come back out after being under pressure. Tony Ralston picking out Greg Taylor and not slipping that ball through to Kyogo, and he had lots of space, but it was a really good finish.
It was a marvellous finish.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those where you just know he's caught the sweet spot, and it absolutely ripped into the roof of the net.
Yeah, past the goalkeeper. I don't know whether the goalkeeper went down a bit early, but I think the pace on the ball, the accuracy and that shows you a player who has got that ability that if you give him a chance at all inside the box, he will take it. And and to be delighted, Celtic from that perspective will be delighted that they are a goal up, because coming here, if it's 0-0, you get into a game and we've got that early goal, but they'll be a little bit disappointed they haven't created a little bit more from Livingston's point of view. They just got to hang in this game for as long, and then hopefully as the game goes on that they will create the big chance and maybe take their chance, because as you rightly said at the start of the game, they don't lose too many, but they don't score too many. Yeah. But it can go either way for them, and they're still in this game for sure.
Yeah. Do you see that, Rich? I mean, I know it is 1-0, and clearly, literally, they are still in the game, but do you see them doing anything different? Do you see them causing Celtic problems in the second half?
I think they need to be better on the ball. I think they were a bit caught up with the problems. You're playing Celtic, and Celtic do everything so fast, and sometimes to me it seemed like Livingston were trying to do the same. They would get the ball, they'd go forward, they've got Newbley there, we know he's a nuisance, and it's like, right, we need to use him quick. Now he does a lot of work defensively, he picks up good areas, so sometimes just rotate the ball, use your midfielders, use your three at the back, because the Celtic only really push Kyogo up at times when they play out from the back. So keep the ball a bit, feel your way into the game, and work your team up the pitch. They've done it on a couple of occasions, and they got long throw-ins, they got crosses into the box that Celtic defended relatively well. But I just think that they got caught up in trying to go forward too quickly, because they've got Newbley and because he is such a handful. But he's go forward when you've got support. As Pat mentioned it in the first half, that they were going forward early. He's got Jensen, Carter Vickers behind him. He's got Riley, who was doing a good job. O'Reilly, picking up the ball in front of him. He's got no hope of keeping the ball because Livingston are too deep. So sometimes what's happening is they're going to offer for the ball, the midfielders going to get it from the back line, and then the back line are going long. So it's not joined up. So there's no way the midfielders can get up and support because the run's too long. If they're going long, then everyone goes up and goes long, and you try and get on the second ball.
The other thing, Richard, they have had opportunities from long throw-ins and so on to get a ball, and that's what they play for. They play to get you in that sort of final third and create something from a set piece. But the set pieces haven't been good enough either from that perspective, and that has let Celtic a little bit off the hook from that perspective.
I've got to say, I don't know if you guys actually noticed it in the midst of the play flowing, but other than the Kyogo goal, the highlight has probably been Willie Collum being wiped out by Aaron Moy.
Yeah, that got a massive cheer, probably as big a cheer as the goal did, from everyone in the stadium, myself and Pat included. But no, it was
You're hard men and the referees, I'll tell you. The referee
there
getting
is
wiped
just
out.
I know. I mean, we shouldn't laugh, but there is something highly amusing when the linesman or the referee goes down under the circumstances. And to be fair to Willie Collum, there was a big smile on his face. I think he just got in the way of Moy as he's trying to get back to defend, and down he went. Anyway, bounced back up very quickly. Willie, no play acting from the official there, delighted to say.
Did it go to VAR?
How delicious would that be? Talking of VAR, I don't think they would have been. They'd have had a wee look, but I think you guys called it absolutely correct. That incident just towards the end, Haksabanovic in to challenge Hamilton. He's done nothing wrong, the Celtic player. He's gone for the ball. Yes, there has been contact, but it's inevitable when the two players are moving towards each other at pace. And Jack's, it's brave goalkeeping. He's got down, he's got on the ball. Haksabanovic, I mean, he can't just suddenly stop because the goalkeeper has...
And you can't jump out of the way, either.
There's a collision, and thankfully, keeper's fine, but there was nothing in it in terms of that. So we touched earlier, Pat, on the strength of Celtic's bench. They're not going to need to look to the bench right now. Wait and see how the game goes. Maybe freshen things up a bit after that.
Yeah, the only thing that they're not doing enough of, I think, is probably in the 1v1 situations in the wide areas, trying to get to the byline. That would be the only. James Forrest has done it a few times on this right hand side. Haksabanovic has not done it at all on that other. He's working over on the left hand side. Whether he maybe change the wingers over or maybe introduce him. I'm trying to look at the bench to see is Abada on that bench. Yeah. So that might be something that he might do just to get a wee change because at the moment Livingston's very comfortable when Haksabanovic comes in on the inside. Yes, he'll try a little pass, maybe if somebody's moving, but invariably he's passing the ball square and it's coming back across the other side, and that's what Livingston absolutely want. That's the only thing that they may go to the bench. From that perspective, they'll be desperate to get another goal just to take the pressure off because they don't want to lose anything here. And you know what Livingston's like. They will keep going, working away, and then suddenly they'll find one or two opportunities late on in the game to get themselves that critical goal. And if it's only 1-0, then that's danger.
You see that, Rich? Livingston would be like, obviously they want to score, they want to get an equaliser, they want to get in front if they can. But if it's still 1-0 with 10 minutes to go, does that almost suit them, and then they can maybe just open up a wee bit then?
Yeah, it does, because let's be honest, if you open up now, start the second half, then you're going to get beat 4-0, quite comfortably, because Celtic are so good. The pitch is suiting them, it's wet, the ball's moving quickly, there's a real zip about Celtic's passing, so you can't open up too early. But because of the pitch, because of the weather, it takes one throw into the box, one corner, a slip, a deflection, and Livingston could get back in the game. So Celtic need to put this game to bed, because otherwise what will happen is the fans will start to get tense, and then the players on the pitch will probably feed off that, and they'll become tense and they'll start rushing things. Pat's right, certain players, the wingers in particular, need to do more. Yes, they've came inside and they've found Moy on the edge of the box a few times, and it's looked good and it's nearly been fruitful for them. But James Forrest at his best gets the ball down, goes at the full-back or the wing-back and drives the ball across, because unless someone puts a trampoline in the middle of the pitch, Kyogo's he certainly shouldn't anyway. I'm not going to say he won't in case he does, but he certainly shouldn't win any headers with the three giants that Livingston have got in there. But anytime the ball's fizzed in low, it's a problem. It's horrible to defend, and it gives him a realistic chance of getting on the end of it. But you can't do that from 30 yards out. You need to do it from kind of the byline or certainly close enough. And both wingers, that would be the one change. I think if Bada is on the bench, is he, get him on. He's more direct, and he also gets himself into real good areas in the box. Yeah,
the other issue, sorry, Richard, that Celtic just got to be careful with is that Carter Vickers has been booked, and when you're a centre half, you're up against a big guy like Nubali and maybe a runner going in. You'll have to make a decision sometime to actually make a tackle. You can't just get away with the game, and that tackle then has got to be spot on. So he can't afford to do anything that would give the opportunity to the referee to give him that second yellow card, and that is always a danger when you're a centre half, when you've been booked early in the game.
Pat, we've talked about Kyogo this season, how he hasn't quite looked the same player as he did, particularly in the first half of last season before the injury, but he scored that goal, took it really, really well, and actually was very, very unlucky. It was a great piece of play when he burrowed into the box a little bit later on, bundled to the ground, and still had the awareness to flick out his foot and just knock it over the keeper and just went over the bar. Are you seeing a bit more from him, or are you still looking for more?
No, I think in the last couple of 2-3 weeks, last couple of weeks, let's say, they've got so many games, I think his movement's been really, really good again. He had to play differently with Giakoumakis. He had to play a little bit deeper in a game recently. But I think when he's up there, he's coming short. He's dropped. He's a lot more movement than when they went through that little spell. And it's terrible to be critical of Kyogo. What a good player he is. But when you set a standard, and you set a real high standard, you're almost looking for that all the time, and that's not easy for creative players. You know, when we were defenders. It's easy to go out and stop people, but when you have to be creative, you've got to be mentally on it, you can be physically on it, you've got to be, everything's got to be working really right. And there is times when you will be off it, there's no doubt, but he set a standard, and I think that's what I'm always looking for. Can he reach that standard? And if he doesn't, then you're kind of asking the question why. And I just think that movement that he had early disappeared for a couple of games, for a period. Now it's back, and I think he's doing really, really well. I don't know what you think about it, Richard, but certainly that's my reading of it anyway.
Yeah, he never lets himself be marked. What I've noticed today, it's our position here, the way the first half's gone, it's going to be completely different in the second half, but we've seen a lot of just Kyogo's movement kind of right in front of us, and he's always between defenders, and he does, Pat's right, he has that sharpness, he has that awareness, he knows exactly where he is. I mean, his goal, he just kind of turns and spins and then gets a shot away really, really quickly. Doesn't allow Livingston defender to get back, doesn't allow the goalkeeper to set, and I think he has, but he had a real traumatic injury. It was kind of 3 or 4 months he was out with that hamstring injury, so you're always going to have periods where maybe that's feeling a little bit, so he doesn't feel as explosive as he is, but when he's healthy, when he's fit, and he's on this form, I mean, it's kind of been, you've not really seen the best of him as such, because Livingston are so deep, so his movement in behind is usually his asset, and here it's slightly different, but he still looks lively, he looks really sharp, and I don't think at any point the Livingston defenders fully know where he is, because he's always in between, and as Pat says, he maybe had that spell of games where he didn't look quite as sharp as we're used to seeing, but certainly today he does.
The action about to get up and running in the SWPL in SWPL 2. Buttermere against Stirling University. Gart, Cairn, Queen's Park, Kilmarnock, Montrose, St Johnstone, East Fife. Staggered kick-off times. And in the SWPL 1, well, first up will be Aberdeen against Glasgow Women at Pittodrie. Again, various kick-off times. Spartans, Hamilton, Rangers, Dundee United live on BBC Sport website, and also on the iPlayer. That's from 4. There's the Bernie and Partick Thistle, Hearts, Motherwell, and the big one, Glasgow City against Celtic live on BBC Alapa from 4:10. Later, live here on Sports Sound, the second of our Premiership encounters for the afternoon. It is Ross County against Hearts. We'll set the scene from there, get you the team news and the interviews and all the action coming up live from 3 o'clock. Highlights tonight, extended highlights of these two matches on Sports Scene from 7:15 on BBC Scotland Channel, and then a busy week ahead. I mean, it always seems to be a busy week, but certainly plenty of live football to come. Rangers Ajax on Tuesday night, Real Madrid Celtic on Wednesday, Basak Shahir against Hearts on Thursday, and then next Friday as we kick off the next round of SPFL action. In the Premiership, there's Aberdeen, Hibernian and Kilmarnock, Livingston, and there will be a highlights programme next Friday night at 11:30 on BBC One. Also live on the BBC Scotland Channel next Friday, big one at Balmoral Stadium, Cove Rangers against Queen's Park. So much to look forward to. First and foremost, the second half from Almond Vale. Livingston 0, Celtic 1, as we rejoin Pat Bonner, Richard Foster, Stuart Mitchell.
Thank you, Richard. Celtic are back out on the pitch. We are still awaiting the arrival of Livingston, and the supporters making their way back from their little lunchtime break here in Livingston, and now the home side will appear from the tunnel back out, ready to get going for the second half. And while it remains only 1-0 to Celtic through that Kyogo goal just before the 10-minute mark, there's still hope for David Martindale's side, and they are hoping to get that point, which would take them up into 6th place ahead of the later kick-off in the Scottish Premiership this afternoon. It will be the home side to get us underway for the second 45 minutes. Scott Pittman ready to take, always a driving force for the home side. A record-breaking 310 appearances reached earlier this season against Motherwell in August, and off we go with Livingston going from left to right in the traditional yellow and black colours, with the black pinstripes down the front, yellow shorts, yellow socks. Celtic going from right to left in the green and white hoops, white shorts and green and white hooped socks too. Haksabanovic just receives a throw from Greg Taylor down in front of our commentary position in the main stand, and with the Livingston supporters, with Celtic occupying the other three areas. Taylor to Moy, back to Taylor, he'll go long and dip the ball in behind Ayo Obalai, who goes with the unsighted clearance over his head facing his own goal, and Greg Taylor will have another throw just to the left of the Livingston technical area. He'll just edge up towards the halfway line and looks for that forward run of Moy. Hatate will take that position over and volleys the ball mid-air across to Carter Vickers in the right centre-back slot. Now Ralston attacked with plenty of force in the first half, and he steps up again midway point of the Livingston half. Forrest has it right wing. Ralston's overlap. Infield on the corner for Moy. The Australian looks for Greg Taylor. Space opens up. Might fancy hitting it. He does left-footed, and it's palmed away by Jack Hamilton. It clears the area, but Celtic have it again. Ralston, Moy on the right, lays it off for Forrest. Forrest with a high cross across the face of goal, but doesn't threaten with anyone coming in at the back post. Livingston survive, and it remains with a minute and a half of the second half gone. Livingston 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, good play from Celtic. Decent strike from Greg Taylor. We're right behind it. A lot of movement on it. Jack Hamilton does well to beat it away, and then that's the area you want James Forrest, but you want him to fizz that ball in low. He just kind of opens up his foot too much and hits it too high, and no one can get on the end of it. But if he hits that low, then the defenders are going to need to do something about it, and Kyogo's in there as well. So a good start from Celtic in the second half.
It's that position that the fullbacks pick up for Celtic. They're no longer wide and coming in off the left-hand side. They're almost in midfield, and that just overloads it. Livingston pulled over to one side, and that's where the space is.
Taylor has the throw midway point on the near side of the Livingston half. Pittman watches Hatate closely, but he manages to turn, takes a sore one in the back of the leg as he clears the ball to the other side. That far side, Ralston finds Forrest. Moy hanging around inside the penalty area. Forrest attempts the cross, it's blocked by Longridge. Out for another Celtic throw. Opposite side, in line with the penalty spot. Moy takes it short, but Penroy steps in to swipe the ball away. Yet another Celtic throw.
Just looking at Pittman there, he's got to go in because Hatate's picked up a position, but he's also just worried a little bit about where Greg Taylor's position is, and somebody's got to get to Greg very, very quickly, because the same thing could happen if they switch the play very, very quickly across there, and that's a difficult one for Scott.
That's for me where you get three at the back marking Kyogo, and sometimes Hatate is more advanced. But when it gets close to your goal, as one of those three defenders, you've got to be man for man. You've got to pick someone up. Otherwise, your midfield just get run around all over it. So Pittman should go to Greg Taylor, but he should be allowed to go higher, and he shouldn't need to worry about Hatate because he's running onto one of the centre halves. But they're not doing that, and he's going all the way in, and that created the space, as you rightly say, for Greg Taylor to have the shot.
Jens has the ball in the Celtic back line. Pass to this near side for Taylor on the halfway paint. Whips the ball in with the left foot. Loose ball will drop to Stephen Kelly. Turns, and it's a hopeful pass forward. Nobody will watch it go over his head, and he'll force the run. Hart with a slight touch to the right of his box for Cameron and Carter Vickers. A ooh from the Livingston fans, but it made the defender wearing the yellow Celtic captain's armband on his left arm, and he'll stroll forward now to the halfway line. Heavy pass behind Ralston. Forrest helps out by picking it up and not letting it go out of play. Ralston looks in field, O'Reilly there, short pass, touched back to the Celtic right back. Carter Vickers, USA international, now for Jens. Taylor inside the Livingston half. Hatate drops into that midfield hole and takes another late one from Jason Holt, and Willie Collum standing right behind the Livingston midfielder. Hatate wants to have a word with Jason Holt. The referee steps in, and he'll just have to blow the whistle and stop Celtic taking the free kick, because he needs to have a conversation between the two players. But just from an earlier throw, Richard, I picked up something when Hatate was trying to make the pass. He just sort of felt something in the back of his leg. Another one there, and Livingston have identified they need to try and stop Rio Hatate in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the game is. Upset him, kick him. You're not trying to hurt him. You're just trying to, upset him enough that he loses concentration. He maybe misplaces his pass or whatever. I mean, that one there it's a nothing tackle. It's probably going to hurt a little bit because it's right down the back of the calf. But he's back up again. He's moving freely, and it's just Livingston. are going to need to get tight to the Celtic players, and they're going to need to actually make contact with them to try and stop them dominating the game the way they are.
Hatate for Ralston. Celtic with some good possession play here around the Livingston box. Moy has it on the left foot, turns back out to that far side byline. Forrest, ball on the toes of his right foot, infield for Taylor. Yen steps up into the space on the left side, but the ball stay on the right wing. What can Celtic do with it here? Ralston leaves it for Moy. He's facing his own goal, so we'll go back to Carter Vickers. Only outfield players inside the Livingston half. Holt pressures Moy. Ralston back to Aaron Moy. Celtic look to cut away through Livingston here. Taylor near side, Haksabanovic on that left wing. Taylor goes in the overlap. Haksabanovic on the right foot. Hatate dances around that left corner of the penalty box. Now Haksabanovic again. O'Reilly lets it roll over the laces of the right foot, and that allows Livingston to step in, and it's a forward run from Holt. He has Nubli on his right. He just waits. Nubli holds the run. Poked pass from the right foot, he skipped past Jens. Nubli has a look, two in support, cuts it back. Holt's there, but it's a heavy touch and into the path of Moritz Jens. That's the kind of chance Livingston have been looking for. The space created by Joe Nubli, who just skipped past the Celtic defence. Livingston want the throw, it won't go their way. Celtic will have it. It remains with 6.5 second half minutes played. Livingston 0, Celtic 1. Kyogo with the goal, but the Livingston fans encouraged by that passage of play.
Yeah, it was a good counter-attack, I've got to say, from the edge of their own box when Holt got close to O'Reilly. O'Reilly just got to deepen himself a little bit and give himself a better angle to get. He was too square, and that allowed Holt then to step out and won the ball. And when he broke forward, nobody did so well to beat Jens. I thought he beat him dead easily.
Devlin and Stephen Kelly pressuring Jensen the ball back in his own box. There's a conversation between Devlin and Jens as play continues on the far side. So the second half starting to heat up as Moy picks up the ball in the Livingston half, turning away. Sean Kelly intercepting, forward for Longridge. He'll go back to Obalai. Obalai passes heavy in the middle for Pittman. Celtic take possession. O'Reilly, Haksabanovic central. Lovely pass, caress for Forrest. Early cross, Obalai clears. Falls for Moy. Struck and blocked by Longridge on the ground. It's now Taylor who's smashing it towards goal! Goal Celtic! Greg Taylor, last weekend's hero for the Celtic supporters at Tynecastle, has scored again, and he burst down to the near left side in celebration with the Celtic fans. We spoke about the pace that the second half has started with. The ball broke to the left back, he struck it towards goal. Jack Hamilton unsighted, and it's Livingston 0, Celtic 2.
Yeah, he's picking up that position again, Greg Taylor. Initially when they tried the shot, it was blocked, came back out to him, and he came on to it without any hesitation. The strike, and this time was low through a body of players. You're right, the goalkeeper was unsighted, and it goes actually right through his legs, I think, from that perspective. But Greg Taylor picking up that position. We said that an inside sort of almost left position where he has all the space to come onto that ball. Really good strike from a player I think has been probably one of Celtic's best players this season.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic season, and it's a good strike. It's controlled, but it comes from Obalai giving the ball away in midfield cheaply. You know, it's a simple pass into midfield. Livingston have probably just had their best moment of the second half, and then they give away the ball, they give away a goal, and you know, for now, unless things change, the game is over. Celtic will cruise to victory here because 2-0 is, you know, you just can't see Livingston getting two chances in the game to get back into it. But I actually liked the way Livingston started the game. You know, Holt kind of nipping in at Hatate. I think it was Devlin, at Jens. Because when you're playing against players you know are better than you need to do something to try and stop them playing well. And you're not trying to hurt them. You're just kind of kicking them a little bit to try and annoy them, get under their skin. And it looked to be working. And then obviously, they give the ball away. The ball breaks to Taylor. Fantastic striking. And then, the game is probably over now.
On his 100 Celtic appearance too. And since then, David Martindale has been very unhappy down below us with the assistant running the line from an earlier throwing decision. And some clashes in the centre circle with Celtic come forward with the ball. Devlin goes down, but Celtic have it through that most recent goal scorer, Greg Taylor, and he'll lose out as the throw now goes in Livingston's direction. Livingston 0, Celtic 2, almost 10 second half minutes played here in West Lothian.
such a critical goal, a critical stage of the game. Also, Celtic and I can settle into passing that ball. They haven't, and we talked about at half-time, they haven't gone to the byline too often. Everything's been played in front, waiting for the spaces, creating the overload at times. They had the shot from Greg Taylor initially, then the goal comes from that almost a similar position, but just overloading that area and finding the space.
O'Reilly threads it for Hatate, the ball will break to Forrest, in comes Longridge to batter it away with the right foot. And the noise rising around the stadium from the away supporters. Livingston with that good start, as Richard and Pat mentioned, for the second half. That then makes it all the more timely for Celtic and Ange Postecoglou getting that second goal to just give them a bit more comfort. There's Tony Ralston on the halfway line for Moy. Forrest hugging that touchline on the far side. He's around Longridge, but eventually, as he looked to get past, the left back goes down. Celtic will have the free kick. The yellow card comes out for Jackson Longridge. And Celtic with a dangerous position to try and deliver the ball. Livingston 0, Celtic 2.
Yeah, they can afford now, Celtic, can't they, to go on a 1v1 situation and mix it up a little bit. That time Longridge going into the tackle just didn't make any contact with the ball and connects with James Forrest. But yeah, it's a decent position, level with the just outside the yard, outside the box, out in that right hand side.
Moy has it. It'll be an outswinger with the right foot. Plenty of bodies in there from both sides. Over it curls towards the penalty spot. There's a head on it, takes it to this near side back post. Ralston there. And then the free kick. As you can hear the whistle from referee Willie Collum. Livingston have the decision inside their own penalty area. Ange Postecoglou looks to make it 5 league wins in a row this afternoon. A tough trip to Livingston. David Martindale still having conversations with everyone that will listen around him in the technical area. Marvin Bartley just steps out and trying to move the team along to this near side because they know that's where Jack Hamilton wants to deliver the the free kick, as Devlin wins the header. Free kick awarded again as Pittman and Taylor come together in the air. The referee has a look and waits for a couple of seconds before deciding it will go in Celtic's direction, and now Marvin Bartley with a few choice words for the assistant in front of us.
To be fair, I think the referee got that one right. It seemed like Pittman just ran right into Greg Taylor after he cleared the ball away. But thankfully I don't have to be a referee.
There'll be a delay for the restart. Taylor takes it quickly, touching it back to Moritz Jens. Forward he'll go over the halfway line, Hatate ahead of him. He puts the pass with pace for Haksabanovic on the left wing. Thinks about the right-footed cross, turns back onto the left foot, aims for the byline. Left-footed cross is high, above the head of everyone. Will Moy retrieve? Yes, he does. The touch takes him into the corner acre on the far side, top left of the pitch. Leaves it for Ralston, skips the challenge. Stephen Kelly slides. Ball goes out of play. The last touch adjudged to have come off the Celtic defender. Out it goes for the goal kick. And Ralston doesn't complain as much as the Celtic supporters behind Jack Hamilton's goal as he gets back to his position. Livingston 0, Celtic 2. Kyogo with the goal in the first half. Greg Taylor adding in the second.
Yeah, we're well away from that, Richard, but it did look good come off Tony Ralston. He got a final touch to it, but the fans did react, didn't they, because they're right beside it. But do you trust the fans?
No. It doesn't matter what the scoreline would be. The reaction would be exactly the same for not getting a corner. The best thing to do, like you say, Pat, is you look at the player's reaction. And he knows it's hit him last and it's gone out for a goal kick, so that he just gets up and runs away, but the fans are unhappy. But then in saying that, they're maybe thinking, right, if we give him a hard time here, we might get the next.
That's right, that's always a ploy.
Livingston have a free kick just inside the Celtic half as Bruce Anderson is sent out to warm up and take the place of Bambula, who was out there to our right. Sean Kelly delivers just inside from that halfway line. Penrice tries to help it on with a back heel, so it doesn't reach the final third. Holt tries too, but Livingston up on their heels here as Pittman tries to get back. Long pass back to Hamilton.
No.
He's driven it straight to Forrest. It's 2-on-1. Forrest looks to cut it across to Hatate. It's still alive. Hamilton goes down, makes the save and recovers from his mistake. The goalkeeper making his debut with a shaky moment there. but he didn't let it unsettle him. He stood strong, and Forrest maybe making the wrong decision there.
He had, absolutely, but going back to the young goalkeeper, I'm just saying, as the ball's coming back to him, saying make contact, make decent contact with the ball, and he fluffs it and goes straight to James Forrest. In a 2v1 situation, he should have done better, James Forrest, to finish this game off. Absolutely, he made the wrong decision, but the goalkeeper redeemed himself, put it that way.
Yeah, it's not a nice ball back, but you're thinking, can you meet it before it, can you go and volley it away? But he elects to wait, and then he tries to smash it. And I think James Forrest either needs to pass it early or just go and shoot. And he takes a touch, allows the defender to block it, and the goalkeeper does recover very well, to be fair to him.
Livingston free kick, Sean Kelly forward. Ralston heads it away. Jack Hamilton, I mentioned the first team appearances at Greenock Morton. 20-year-old stood strong there. Aaron Moy back to Ralston here. Applause from the supporters have travelled to Livingston to watch their team currently have a 2-goal lead. Greg Taylor on the ball, the most recent goal scorer, as he thundered the ball towards the Livingston goalkeeper, who was unsighted as it evaded him into the back of the net. Celtic go searching for a third. This Hatate lays it off for Haksabanovic. Number 9 skips past Devlin into the area from the left side. He runs into more trouble in Fitzwater. He'll just try and wrap his right foot around the ball with the instep, aiming for Joe Newbley. With a difficult shift up there with just over a quarter of the second half. Players had a lot of those wide balls to chase. He's done well with some scraps, but there's other ones where he's just not been able to get near.
Yeah, I'm just Haksabanovic, and I don't know whether he's got a left foot, has he? It looks like he doesn't want to use that left foot. He was in a great position to get the byline in that particular instance, because the ball was passed into that area, and then he checks back.
Taylor looks for Haksabanovic here. Devlin gets his body in front, lets the ball drop, down he goes, tumbling to the ground. The referee close by will give the home side the free kick.
Well, maybe the Celtic fans complaining won't have the effect they desire, because that was, from here, doesn't look like he touches Devlin, but it's a typical one. The defender just feels a tiny little bit of contact, falls over, falls on the ball as well, and always gets a free kick.
And there's activity down in the Livingston technical area. Kerridine Idsan's our pitchside reporter. About to be a change, Kerridine.
Yes, Andrew Shinnie coming on, taking the place of Stephen Kelly. So Livingston know they need to retrieve 2 goals here to get anything out of the match. So an attack-minded substitution, as you'd expect.
Thanks, Kerridine. Andrew Shinnie scored a couple of goals against Celtic last season, so not a bad substitute to bring on when you're a couple of goals behind at home. One here in the 1-0. It started Celtic's long unbeaten run in the league. It was ended by St Mirren earlier in the season. O'Reilly comes together in the middle with Pittman. Celtic have the ball. Moy back for Ralston, who's charging up from the defence. He tries to clip it with the right foot for Moy to get there. Did he keep it in play? The assistant, who's right on the spot, says no, and awards the throw-in to Livingston. Just having a look, Richard, at the shape of Livingston from that one, it still looks like Andrew Shinnie's going to be in a similar position to Stephen Kelly, just sitting behind Joe Newbley, but maybe offers a little bit more in attacking knowledge going up to support the striker.
Yeah, I think defensively he'll be dropped back into that 4, but I think offensively he'll try and become, can almost play in that number 10 position behind Joe Newbley, because, well, in saying that, they're that deep, it's not a 10 position. He's like on the halfway line, but just, yeah, he's a clever player, Shinnie. He knows the right areas to pick up the space, to pick up the runs to make, and he's less defensively minded than Stephen Kelly, certainly, and Livingston hope obviously that he can bring some attacking play to their team, because in the second half it's been all Celtic.
Still looking for the first of the season. Ralston leaves it for Forrest, cuts in on the left foot, still driving across the box. There's a strike, and it's just over the crossbar. It was rising as it was heading towards Hamilton's goal, but Forrest, who has opted more, you could say, to go down the right wing, trying to come in field, and probably wanting to get on the score sheet after passing up that earlier chance when he was through in the 2-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Do you know what it means?
Yeah, I thought he could have maybe struck it a bit earlier from the angle he was on with trying that curly. He took an extra touch and it just brought him in almost in the middle of the pitch, and he just couldn't get over the ball, and he couldn't get that curl on it from that position then.
Over an hour played. Kyogo and Taylor with the 2 Celtic goals as they have that 2-0 lead on Livingston, who are the home team, as Scott Pittman battles away with Moy. Was he dragged down? Yes, says Willie Collum. Free kick Livingston. Midway point of the Celtic half. Is there an opportunity to get back into it with a goal here? Pat, you said at half-time set pieces had been where the main attacks had come from the home side. There's an opportunity for another one here.
It has always been Livingston's strength, isn't it? Set pieces, long throws and so on.
Quickly goes Nubly trying to wrestle away with Kyogo, and the forward's done well to peel away from the big striker. He's still running even though the referee's blown for the free kick with the ball. He'll leave it now, and a big cheer from the Celtic fans. He was the alert one, the man that had come all the way back from the front.
Really good awareness, wasn't it? You know, for you don't expect Kyogo to come back for free kicks, to defend free kicks, and he does. But he was so sharp, because they've obviously spoken about it. That was a free kick that he tried in the first half too. Can almost played into the space for Nubly to get into that front post area, but this time Kyogo was switched on and defended really, really well.
Just sheer determination from the little forward as Cameron Carter-Vickers moves forward right side, clips a long ball with the right foot to the near side for Haksabanovic. Onto the right foot, sees the run from Atati, drills it across, it ricochets down off the goalkeeper's chest onto the ground and back up again. Livingston clear at the front post. Moritz Jens across, forward for Hatate. It's just holding the ball on the touchline, it'll go out of play. There's activity in the Celtic bench now, so we'll pass over to Keredine.
Yes, double substitution for Celtic. Liel Abada and David Turnbull are coming on. It'll be Matt O'Reilly and James Forrest field the part.
Thanks, Keredine. A couple of changes about to be made. It's Greg Taylor stands with the ball above his head for the throw. Just about to get to the final third. Haksabanovic goes down as he tries to turn away from Devlin. The two just get into a little bit of pushing with each other. And Willie Collum, I think he's had more to say than we've had up in the commentary booth this afternoon.
Yeah, he has. I just wonder what happened there again. You know, it looks like Devlin's just kind of pulled him down to the ground, whether he's maybe stood on his toe or something and just annoyed him, but so you can't lift your hands either. That's another issue.
The thing is, this is the side of the game that's kind of almost falling out of the game. I love all this kind of the horrible part of the game. You know, you can see Haksabanovic is kind of trying to push Devlin off, and Devlin obviously thinks, no, I'm having none of this, and just drags him to the floor. Again, there's no harm in it. It's just a bit, you know, it's just what you're trying to do to. I suppose some players need that in the game to try and concentrate. I certainly was one of them. So it's just, like I say, I like seeing all that kind of thing.
And on come the substitutions.
Yeah, Celtic's change. Yeah, and it'll be Aaron Moy that'll step back into O'Reilly's position as the holding, the deep line midfield player, put that way. And obviously Abada, a clear swap for Forrest over on that right hand side.
Ball in play, Devlin shrugs off the challenge. Livingston will move up the pitch with a throw just inside the Celtic half on the near side, attacking from left to right. Pittman, time to drop it down on the chest from the right side. Now Fitzwater on that near side touchline, clips the ball over, looking for Penrice's run. Carter-Vickers well aware of that ball, brings it down. Longridge goes down in the centre circle a little awkwardly as he was trying to get back. Livingston will move forward.
Goes down awkwardly and then gets up into a full sprint because he thinks he can go forward.
Fitzwater has it on the halfway line. He's up there still, Longridge. Nubly has the ball, holding it just on the edge of the final third. Shinnie comes up to support alongside Devlin, and Nubly wins the throw as he's being pushed towards the near side touchline. And just as Richard says, Jackson Longridge will go back into position. And they'll start feeling the knee again now. Devlin with the long throw. First opportunity for one of these for the home side in this second half. It's just in front of our position. Just a touch back from the penalty spot. He looks towards the front post. Aims for Fitzwater, touch by a Celtic defender. Turnbull turns, edge of the box, drops to Holt, clips it back over. Oberle's there, didn't go for it as he may have thought he was in an offside position, and it allows Turnbull to peel away. Longridge tries to challenge, Turnbull rides it. That's great work there from Holt. And he steps, Andrew Shinnie drops the shoulder, turns, looks to release Nubly. Carter-Vickers watching, and Celtic take over possession. Over the midway point of the second half, Livingston 0, Celtic 2. Hugo and Taylor the goal scorers.
The change for Livingston has allowed Holt to be the sitting player now, and he's Pittman and I'm trying to say, is it Penrice is pushed a little bit further forward, and obviously Andrew Shinnie taking up that number 10 position. He will take care of Aaron Moy when he is defending, but to get closer to Nubly and just see can they get back into the game a little bit more and have more of an attacking potent.
Turnbull has it inside the Livingston half. Layoff to Ralston. Here's Abada in field for Kyogo. Abada immediately bursts towards the box. He doesn't quite get to the through ball from Kyogo. But there's just a sign of that fresh energy that Ange Postecoglou has introduced for Celtic up in the forward area.
I think that's the difference with Abada and Forrest. I think Abada's movement's better. I think he sees the game. He sees the game better. He makes clever runs. He doesn't do what you expect him to do, like they are give and go, but he runs in the pitch. Too much weight in the pass, but it's a fantastic run.
Kyogo touches it on for Abada on the right side. He's got plenty of space. Takes it on the right foot, drilling into the box, cuts over, looking towards the back post. Obalai clears away. Hatate will recover. It's back out for Ralston. Abada will move into the area now. Turnbull helps the Celtic right back. Lays it off. Ralston crosses. It's high and dipping over the goalkeeper. It clears the crossbar. Out for the goal kick, and it'll remain Livingston 0, Celtic 2.
The quality from the wide area has not been great from Celtic, has it? You know, it's 2 crosses we've seen now that are high and hopeful. That Abada one too high, easy to defend. They've got to fizz them in along the ground, you know, below knee height. Even if you want to put a bounce on it, you know, it makes it much more awkward for the defenders. But as soon as you play it in high, the Livingston are favourites.
I just wonder if the pitch has got anything to do with that, Richard. You know, when you get to that point, you know, and it just kind of maybe bobbles up a little bit on you, you don't quite get the contact you would get when you're on a grass pitch.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It certainly shouldn't. The way the ball's been running, it doesn't seem to be an issue. I think it's just that it almost seems like they're caught in two minds. Do I lift it, which is what I would typically do, or do I try and fizz it low? And you know, two in a row now from Ralston. I think he's got too much on them, and they went out the other side.
Abada enjoying possession again for the visitors. Back it goes to Carter Vickers. Now Jens. Taylor on the near left side. Kyogo's dropped into space. 1-2 with Taylor. Now back to Kyogo again. Haksabanovic ahead. Taylor, heavy pass. Kyogo was making the move, so he wasn't in the same position. Out it goes for the Livingston throw. A bit of activity down on the Livingston bench. We'll cross to Keredine shortly. Nicky Devlin readies the throw. Nubly stands on the halfway line, comes forward. It's an awkward one for him to try and take on the midriff. He apologises to Devlin for not being in the right position. And Celtic will throw the ball to the back line and try and move it over to that far side. Carter Vickers has a few options ahead. Ralston's one of those who's made the way forward. He'll get there first, he'll cross, it comes off. Sean Kelly, out it goes. Celtic have the second half corner. David Turnbull in a hurry to take as he moves over to that top left corner arc, and now the change will be made by David Martindale, so we'll quickly cross to Keredine.
Yes, I wonder if he'll make it before or after this corner kick. It's Stefan Omiyonga who's coming on for James Penrice, but I'm guessing it's going to be after this kick.
Over it goes the corner. Carter Vickers there, it'll fall to Fitzwater. He's still going forward. Jens makes a late challenge. Fitzwater holds the back right heel, and the yellow card comes out for Moritz Jens. And one thing you pointed earlier in the game, Pat, was that Carter Vickers had already been booked. Moritz Jens now into that too.
Yeah, but they haven't really had to do too many sort of almost interceptions or last gasp tackles or so on. That one there was probably one where he just got his timing wrong and is on the edge of their box. But in around their own box, they don't have to do anything, so they can manage their game. They should be able to manage their game properly for the remainder of this.
Stefan Omiyonga has his number in green up on the fourth officials board, and the number 29 in red of James Penrice, was applauded by the Livingston supporters. Local boy made his 50th appearance for the club in the 1-0 win against Kilmarnock recently. Now Stefan Omiyonga comes on after missing the last few matches through injury. Been trying to work his way back to fitness, and will try and offer some more drive as David Martindale's side look to get back in the game. Just over 15 minutes to play in this second half. Livingston 0, Celtic 2. Kyogo with his 8th league goal of the season. Greg Taylor with his second. Nubly receives the ball from the free kick. Shinnie tries to dip the crossover. It took a deflection. Hatate will pick up just on the end of the Celtic defensive zone. Moy takes it, sees Abada and bags of space over on the far side. He'll peel away, checks back onto the right foot. Turnbull runs ahead. Hatate and Moy inside. He'll go for the long crossfield pass to the near side for Haksabanovic. Taylor bursts forward in the overlap. Haksabanovic onto the left foot, strikes it low, takes a deflection across the face of goal. Turnbull will settle for the corner. Another quick one for Celtic to take. 2-0 it remains. Quickly taken. Ralston. Turnbull will run around. It's laid off to David Turnbull. Abada has it. Thought about the cross. Turnbull will take over again on that corner. He'll dip it with the right foot. Jens with the header, but it's always high and it dips too late over the crossbar. Over it goes. Jack Hamilton with the goal kick to take. And with almost 30 minutes played in the second half, it's Livingston 0, Celtic 2.
You can see it's almost an excitement from Celtic when Livingston go forward and they win the ball back, because within 2 passes they're at the Livingston back line. Great play from Hatate. They get the ball wide to Abada, and I think he switches the ball, and we see Haksabanovic coming on his right foot, and you think, just go and hit it, you've opened his face. I mean, he chops the defender goes to ground, but then he's now on his left foot, angle's not as good, and his shot is a decent strike, but it has a block. But I just thought it opened up for him, Pat. I thought he could have hit it with his right foot.
Yeah, but at least he tried it with his left this time, which is...
Ralston skips past Omiyonga, option on the right side, stopped on the touchline. Turnbull goes down, Kyogo comes out to support. Ralston still hanging around the edge of the area. We'll go back to David Turnbull, slips it forward. Hatate out there on the right, helping out that collective of Celtic players. Aaron Moy turns on the left foot. Taylor's come inside, no one on the left wing, so it'll stay on the right. Hatate, quick passing with Ralston. Livingston will just try to push up a little bit. Omiyonga and Pittman providing that. Hatate goes down, free kick Celtic. Pittman and Omiyonga will just try and prevent Moy from going quickly. Touches the pass to Turnbull. Taylor thought about going forward, uses the support and the step up from Jens. Carter Vickers continues forward, midway point of the Livingston half, around Pittman. Out to Abada. Kyogo and Haksabanovic around in the penalty area. Abada can't squeeze the ball through to Rio Hatate, and out it will go for the Livingston throw. And remember, after the live action here in Livingston, full commentary at 3 PM of Ross County against Hearts on Sports Sound. Rangers take on Dundee United in the SWPL on BBC Sports Scotland Online from 4 PM. And there's more activity down in David Martindale's technical area as the ball rolls again out for another Livingston throw on that far side. We'll just try and see who it is. Keredine will get into position and try and retrieve the information for us as Hamilton, the Livingston goalkeeper, takes the ball. Kyogo rushing forward to try and block. Hamilton just happy to get rid of it. High it goes into the Stanley sit-in, and it remains Livingston 0, Celtic 2. Here's news of the Livingston change.
Yes, one final roll of the dice for Livingston from a forward-thinking point of view. The number 9, Bruce Anderson, coming on for the last few minutes. Can Livy get a goal to get themselves back into the match? And if Livy were looking for some good news, that might be it in terms of Anderson. The bad news is one of Scotland's best players is coming back after an injury layoff. Jota is about to come on for Celtic, as is Abelgard, so changes all around in the last few minutes here.
Thank you very much, Keredine. Busy down there as Celtic restart with the ball. Jens driving forward. Hatate has it, moves in field. His left arm was pulled back by Andrew Shinnie. Will he call him on the spot with the yellow card for the Livingston substitute? It is a dangerous position too for Celtic, just threatening to be a free kick on that final third whenever the ball will finally be placed. And Postecoglou with a few words towards the fourth official before the changes will be made. He will allow the free kick to be taken. Moy has 5 to aim for, over towards the penalty spot. It drops, it's a cluster of players there. The ball deflects towards the front post. Hamilton comes out to take. Confusion in the Livingston back line, and we just see Georgios Giacomakis there as well, Pat.
Yeah, and Abelgard, I think. So I think they'll be the ones. No doubt Keredine will point us in the right direction. Who's coming off?
Ball in play. Hamilton goes high towards Newbley. Moy steps in. Devlin will pick up the loose ball, driving down this near side. He's away from Haksabanovic, but he's clipped on the heels. Haksabanovic can't believe it. Devlin says, yes, you did. And Willie Collum says free kick to Livingston. And this one is just on line in the near side with the edge of the D. David Martindale playing ball boy now as he comes down the touchline to roll the ball back in, and it will signal the changes for Celtic. So Jota has his number up on the board, Abelgard and Giacomakis as well. It's the end of the afternoon for Haksabanovic. He'll make his way off as he applauds the Celtic supporters. We'll just keep an eye on the other numbers to be lit up on the board. Number 8 of Kyogo, who scored his 8th goal of the season to open the scoring in the game that currently stands at 2-0, and Rio Hatate, the other. Impressive performances, especially there from Kyogo with that important goal in the first half, and the threats keep coming for Livingston, but it will be the home side who have the opportunity to threaten here, and they have 6 in the box. Omyonga provides some instruction, received from the technical area. Marvin Bartley just sets things up too. Sean Kelly is ready. He'll just take a step back from the ball as Willie Collum checks the line inside the Celtic box. Kelly back in his heels, left-footed, in swinger towards the back post. Oblai was there, Turnbull, it drops to Jason Holt, screams of handball, hands up in the air, play continues. Jota will look to break, Abada's bursting through the middle. Jota with a lovely light-footed, left-footed pass, and then the sliding challenge from Devlin. The ball's up in the air, caught by Hamilton. Willie Collum says you're not getting anything for that, and play will continue. But with those substitutes keeping things busy, it got busy on the pitch there. What did you think of the handball shout, Richard Foster?
Well, to be honest, I think it hits him right in the face. I think it hits his foot or his leg first and then hits him in the face. Just by the way he reacted afterwards. And then obviously a decent pass through from Jota. And I mean, if the Celtic fans think Nicky Devlin has meant to pass it back to his goalkeeper there, then he must be some player, because he does very well. The defending's very good, but good interception. The goalie was right to catch it.
Moy for Abada, right side into the box, left-footed, gets the ball over. Fitzwater heads it away inside the last 10 in Livingston. Taylor picks up midway point of the Livingston half. Moritz Jens, Jota applauded as he receives the ball. Taylor on the overlap. Moy, quick move with the right foot, infield Turnbull, back to goal. Releases Jota on the left side of the box, step over, left-footed at the byline, clips the ball up. Screams of handball from the Celtic fans, and the ball goes out.
Well, that Jota's come on. Listen, he's a quality player. He's been missing, I think it's 5 games he's been out for now, so he's come back. But what he has, he's got ability now to either go on the inside or go on the outside, and that creates a real problem for the wing back, Nicky Devlin.
Quite in keeping that he comes back for Halloween, because he's an absolute nightmare. I would hate to play against Jota.
There's a VAR check here, isn't it?
There'll be for the handball.
For the handball.
We can't see from here, to be honest, but
no.
So there's a check as the cheer goes up. Willie Collum has the left hand to his ear, just waiting. The Tony Macaroni Arena holds its breath to find out what the decision will be. The players just exchanged some conversations around the pitch. Andrew Shinnie and David Turnbull just in front of Willie Collum, who signals for the monitor, and he's coming over. It was the Celtic attack on the left side. Nicky Devlin speaks to the 4th official. You could tell from his body language what he thinks, and Willie Collum comes over just down to our left, in between the 2 technical areas. The monitor there, we saw him checking it ahead of the game just to make sure things were working okay. David Martindale just standing at the left side of his technical area. Willie Collum moves away and points to the spot. Celtic have the spot kick, and it's an opportunity to extend their lead to 3.
Well, VAR has got a big role. It's going to have a big role to play all season. There's no doubt about it. We've seen it in the Champions League so far this season. Has been quite incredible. Even now, he's only gone in 2 weeks, and there's been yesterday controversy. Today, obviously, this is a big decision. Kills the game off if Celtic happen to score. Giacomakis is stepping up to take the penalty.
Georgios Giacomakis, 4 goals in his last 4 matches, 6 league goals this season. He'll be right-footed up against the Livingston goalkeeper on his club debut, Jack Hamilton. Can he keep his side alive? He checks with the referee. Giacomakis steps up, right-footed. It's low and it's off the post. He's missed. It's a lifeline for Livingston. Giacomakis throws the right hand in the air, and with just over 6 minutes to go in this second half, it remains Livingston 0, Celtic 2.
Would you give the penalty, Richard, to somebody who's just come on the pitch?
I was about to say the exact same thing. I don't think he's kicked the ball. Celtic have got enough quality on the pitch that someone else can take that penalty. But if he is the designated penalty taker when he comes on, then he hits it. He seemed very casual about the run-up. I don't know if that's maybe just his style with penalties. But like you said, it's definitely given Livingston something to hold on to now. Hope for now, sorry.
And Bruce Anderson, full of energy, he's won the throw. He wants it taken quickly. He points where the ball should go. Newbley's there. Taylor has it. Shinnie comes across. Down goes Taylor. Screams in pain as he holds his left shin. Shinnie wags the finger and helps the Celtic left back.
I don't think there was anything in that, actually. Disappointed in Greg there, actually going down. I think he's kicked almost against Shinnie's thigh there, didn't he, as he ran across him?
I don't mind that he goes down. It's the screaming pain that gets me, Pat. It's you know, we as players need to have a responsibility that if you shout out in pain, Willie Collum's got every right to think you're hurt there. So, you know, if you're not, then don't do it. Like for me, that he gets up so quickly, Willie Collum should book him, because he's conned him into give him a free kick.
Holt digs away for the ball, down he goes as he takes away possession. Livingston free kick inside their own half, but it will be Shinnie, Anderson and Newbley up in that front line of three. Shinnie's just shaking something off from that challenge too. Holt receives from the free kick. Fitzwater goes long, Newbley's there, Jens keeping a close eye on him. Newbley peels away in front of Abuga. Out it goes for the Livingston throw. David Martindale throws it to Fitzwater and he throws it to Devlin. Ball is not in play. Nicky Devlin steps up, looks for Anderson. He's in front of Jens, in front of the assistant. Another throw awarded, and Nicky Devlin will have the opportunity to launch one from this near side. 6 in the box for Livingston. Longridge and Obileye head towards the penalty spot. Devlin, with his back against the concrete wall in front of the Livingston supporters, launches it towards the penalty spot. Fitzwater's up. The headers from Abugar. Obileye with the back heel. Shinnie along the edge of the area. Can't turn into space. It's back to Obileye. Right footed. It's blocked by Ralston and it just spins into the hands of Joe Hart, who took a step forward. He's not thinking about holding on to the ball as he releases it on that right side for Liel Abada. Abada moves forward. Yakimakis was there. Turnbull takes, across it goes. There's the touch, and it's in, and it's Jota who scores. Available again after missing the last 5 matches for Celtic. Thrown on by Ange Postecoglou, and over he goes to celebrate with the Celtic fans, and that surely wraps up the 3 points for Celtic now. It's Livingston 0, Celtic 3.
It's obviously going to be checked, but the Livingston players all just stopped. They just absolutely stopped and just thought, oh well, it's even if he's not offside right now, it will be. Now they might have got their line perfect, and but it looked to me like it was a good run from Turnbull. It was timed very well.
It was a good run. It was a good run, but the space that he was in was quite incredible.
I think he's onside there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a goal, and I'm looking at listen, Joe Hart. Every single time he gets the ball, he wants to get the game on. Doesn't matter if you're 2-0 up or you're 4-0 up or whatever. And that was a really good throw out, really quick, and a good run from Turnbull. And there's a goal. And Jota, again, coming on the pitch and gets his goal, which is quite incredible.
Play restarts. I'm hearing that Omiyonga was a Livingston player that was playing onside for Celtic to grab that third. I think surely wrap the 3 points.
That's something that players need to realise. Yes, it's going to go to a VAR check, but don't just stop, because the Livingston players just all stopped and went, oh well, the VAR will make sure he's offside. Omiyonga gets the line a bit wrong and he's through, and it's now 3-0.
It's Jota's 5th league goal in his 10 appearances this season. His last goal was that sublime finish in the 4-0 win against Rangers last month as Greg Taylor picks up the yellow card. Livingston with another free kick. It's at midway point of the Celtic half on this near side. It'll be another one for Sean Kelly to deliver with the left foot. Again, 6 in there in yellow for Livingston, but with a lot to do with under 2 minutes to play of normal time. The number 24, Kelly, whips it in. Longridge up for the header with Abuga. Abada trying to get it away. It comes off Longridge. He keeps it in play out for the throw on the far side, and it remains Livingston 0, Celtic 3.
I think before the last free kick, David Martindale said something to Sean. I assume it's play the ball to the back post, because that's 2 in a row he's tried it, but Abelgard coming on there, he's another giant, so he just stands in that position and heads the ball away.
And that's his role, coming off the bench to be that defensive role. And I think he's done well on a couple of occasions there now, coming in and getting his head on balls as played into that middle of the 6-yard box or towards the back post.
Ralston gets the ball forward. Yakimakis coming over the halfway line, heavy touch, and Shinnie will take possession for Livingston. Omiyonga steps in. He's in a battle up against Abuga and Turnbull. It's Shinnie who breaks away. Jens with a sliding block as he tried to squeeze the ball through for Newbley. Yakimakis there, unable to do anything, and Hamilton, the Livingston goalkeeper, will take high into the sky. Moy brings the ball down. Omiyonga comes along the halfway line. Devlin inside the Celtic half. Holt whips it forward. Shinnie makes the run to this near side. Takes the ball down in his chest. Closely watched by Yent. Shinnie goes down. Play continues. And Greg Taylor will try to clear the deflection off the right foot of Newbley, who is standing in front. Holt comes in. Header forward. Anderson looks for Longridge. Abada blocks. Edge of the final third for Livingston. Forward it goes for Holt, and the flag raised by the assistant. Celtic will have the free kick. 3-0 it remains to the visitors.
Yeah, Holt was in a good position to get the cross in. He didn't have to pass it, and Newbley was all the way to the back post. Here's a chance. Here's a chance.
Forward it goes. Giakoumakis with a left-footed strike into the side netting. And Celtic going in search for more. They're not happy with the 3. Giakoumakis looking to make up for his missed penalty off the post. On the away side, will have a corner.
He takes a poor touch, doesn't he? He allows the ball to go too wide, and then I thought he was going to maybe take a touch and check back in, but he just goes for the shot, and I think it was always going wide, regardless of whether the goalkeeper saved it. But a poor touch from Giakoumakis there, otherwise he should have been making it 4-0.
Jota with the corner on the bottom left corner arc. Short to Turnbull. Jens is the nearest option. It doesn't go into the area, so it's still in that left wing. Turnbull sweeps the pass central for Carter Vickers. Couple of turns and finds Aaron Moy. The little midfielder looks for Ralston on the right side. Moy has it again. Abada makes the run close. Touch, turn, tries to peel away from Longridge. Across into the box, Giakoumakis tries to feed Abada back, and it's cleared away by Omiyonga. Carter Vickers will be there first, still inside the Livingston half. 4 additional minutes to be played. 3-0 to Celtic. Jota, the most recent of the goal scorers, the substitute who came on in the second half, finds Turnbull. Celtic players cross paths with each other. Taylor has possession in the final third. Turnbull now. Jota tries to put the cross up to the back post for the run of Ralston. Longridge heads away. Celtic throw. Just over 3 minutes to play.
Game's over. Celtic just managing the game out now, trying to keep possession. Of course, they have those forward players. They will always try to create it given the opportunity, but they just have to work their way through to the final whistle here now. And a good 3 points, I've got to say, for them in a difficult place to come, and they've never been under any real threat, have they?
Scored 3 in their last win against Livingston last season. A 3-1 win that was. Range Postecoglou's side as Ralston has the ball on the right wing. Exchanges with Moy. Ralston runs forward, clips it over. Giakoumakis stumbles back. Devlin can't clear it. It's up in the air, and I don't know if it was a chest or a header, but in either way, he got the ball back into Hamilton's hands for Livingston. And play halts for a moment again. And Celtic with that 3-goal lead. Giakoumakis missed a penalty. Remember, Tuesday Sportsound, as you covered, with Rangers hosting Ajax in the Champions League. Then on Wednesday, Real Madrid against Celtic. That will be back for that one. Thursday, Hearts travel to Istanbul to take on Başakşehir in the early Europa Conference League kick-off. So plenty to keep your ears on this week on BBC Radio Scotland and Sportsound. Carter Vickers has it in the Celtic half. Jens looks for Turnbull, and he'll touch it for Taylor in Livingston territory. Jota, central left, moves into the middle. Moy with a quick pass back for Turnbull. Ralston over for Abada. He'll juggle. Ralston on the overlap. Another cross from the right back. He'll go straight into the hands of Hamilton, who jumps at the front post and collects, and it remains Livingston 0, Celtic 3, and in a comfortable position to extend their lead at the top of the Premiership table.
Yeah, that third goal just killed it off, didn't it? It's kind of just petering out now. Celtic are going forward at will. They're trying different things. I still feel the quality from wide areas in terms of crosses into the box hasn't been great, but it's, as Pat said, it's been a good performance from Celtic at a difficult venue, and they're just going to see the game out now.
Celtic restart with the free kick. Only make it about 15 seconds of the additional time remaining. Celtic still on the attack as Jota, left side, trying to find a way around Devlin. Left-footed cross, Devlin gets a block in, it looks to come back off Jota, out it goes, and the full-time whistle is blown by referee Willie Collum. It's 3 points for Celtic and a 3-goal win at the Tony Macaroni Arena in the Sunday lunchtime kick-off in the Scottish Premiership. It's a fast start with Kyogo grabbing his 8th league goal of the season with a fine finish, as he had sheer determination to get into the penalty box. But at half-time, Livingston had hope as they went in at the interval with Celtic only having that 1-goal lead. They started better in the second half, the home side, but Celtic stepped up the pace. Greg Taylor missed with an effort before smashing on the 53rd minute. Jack Hamilton, the Livingston goalkeeper, was unsighted and that went past him, and that made it 2-0 Celtic. A few changes, a flurry of substitutions for both sides. Georgios Giacomakis came on after James Forrest missed a chance 2-on-1 with the Livingston goalkeeper. He tried to pass it when he was probably better shooting, and it was Georgios Giacomakis who stepped up later to strike the post with a penalty kick. But Jota, another substitute, making his return after being available from recent injury, missing the last 5 games, rounded off the scoring. There was a shout of an offside, but we hear that Stefan Omionga kept the play alive onside, and Jota applied the finishing touch after the good work from Turnbull. 3-0 it finishes for Celtic against Livingston, and they extend their lead at the top of the Scottish Premiership table to 4 points. It finishes in Livingston. Livingston 0, Celtic 3.
On digital.